Good,
Perfect.
good,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good.
Good evening. You all ready down there?
Yep.
Okay, good. Good evening and welcome to the Conservation Commission meeting on Thursday, June 4th. We can begin right away with a request for determination applicability. Steve Marco, 39 Doherty Lane, proposed three-season room on existing deck and subject to coastal storm flooding. Is somebody here representing 39 Doherty? Come on up to the mic and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you plan to do and
Good evening. My name is Steve Marco, and I have a summer home at 39 Doherty Lane. And this is a cottage that was built in 1948 and has basically been unchanged since then. And there was a wooden deck in the back, and it's built like a U. So there's two little short wings, and then the front. And in the wing, in the center of the two wings is like a patio area, and wooden deck is there. And it was getting old and ratty, and splinters and nails coming up. So I thought I'd take it out, and wanted to put a slab in there, and then put a small three-season room. It's about 10 by 10, and basically the whole cottage is a three-season. But it would just be for a kitchen table. I'm not going to put heat in it. It's just going to be enclosed from the weather. It's just a small little thing. I don't,
okay.
what would you like to know?
Anybody have any questions? See Ellie.
Nope. I'm good.
Do you have anything, Ms. Britton?
No, I don't have any questions. I'd recommend a -2 for this project.
Okay. Anybody in the audience have a question? Comment? Anybody online? Oh, look, there's nobody online. Exciting. Okay, so can I hear a motion to accept the proposal with -2?
Are we not discussing the shed?
Are we what?
Not discussing the shed, or is the shed already permitted?
The shed was approved under an administrative review a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, the shed, I had the building inspector come out, and he looked at it, and I had the sonotubes put in, and Pine Harbor built it, and he inspected it, and everything was fine, and as far as the building inspector went, so, and that was October.
Oh, yeah, 1 year ago.
As administrative approval.
Okay.
Anybody want to make a motion?
So moved.
Okay, second, Jack? Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, that's it. -2 is a positive thing, and a -2 is actually a positive.
Good, okay.
And Brittany will send you all the information.
Thank you very much, everybody, thank you.
Hopefully, they're all that fast tonight.
Dave, can you just get closer to the mic?
I don't think.
Close, I'm gonna eat it. Put it on. Okay. Okay, we'll go to our second item, which is SE 83-2270 BSC Group for Channel Point LLC, 2 Channel Point Drive. And it is down there.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Kieran Healy, BSC Group. What we did is we had requested that the COC would be continued, but this is to do with the bank that is not stable out there. When we were in front of you, we asked for 2 different notes to be added to the plan, which we did. One being that access would come from the existing lawn, and the second would be that when the invasive was removed, that it would be replaced with Carolina rose. Other than that, I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Brittany, can you put up the plans?
Plan? This is the plan
Okay,
that we're reviewing. Do you want photos?
sure. Just to kind of remind us. Remind me. Okay, now I remember. Okay.
Is there any update on the status of the planting of the plugs on the bottom part of the bank? Paul mentioned those might get done before this hearing if possible.
I don't believe they have been done as of yet.
Okay, have they been
Yep,
ordered?
they are working on it, though I just don't know exactly when they're going in.
Okay. It'd be best if that could get done this spring before the fall planting season. This one is
Anybody have any
good, the best part.
questions? Jack, was that a hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any chance the neighborhood would join in on the Phragmites removal?
I can't say if that conversation has been had, but I will ask my client to see if is there any interest in doing that. I think my client would be open to it, but I just can't speak for
Okay.
the neighbor. But I'll pass that along.
Anybody else? Brittany?
Can you just provide us notice when you plant the Spartina at the bottom?
Yes.
Thank you. I recommend approval of the invasive species management plan.
Say that again, please.
I recommend approval of the invasive species management plan and continuance to September 17th to review the first round of work.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion? Jack?
Go.
Okay, so we're going to approve the plan and then continue the COC, correct?
I mean, you have to ask about discussion.
Just want to make sure that's what the motion is.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody second, please?
Second.
Any other discussion?
I just want to verify, is that the management plan online, the dated May 19th, Brittany? There
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
anything
this
subsequent.
management plan that's
Okay, so
dated
March.
March 25th in the folder for today's meeting.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I'm going to abstain because I don't fully know what we're voting on.
Yeah, you can abstain.
I missed the motion also and the second.
Who made the motion again?
I did.
And I'm second.
Pat second. And so we have a six votes yes, one abstention. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
Forgot to ask if anybody in the audience had anything to say.
We don't ask for that for certificates of compliance.
I literally don't know what this project is.
Forgot to remind me. This is Dory Lane. And this is Channel Point Drive. Look at that, two in a row. All right, our next item is SE 83-75, BSC Group, Stephen Katz, 703 Route 28. Before you start, I just want to make a comment about 703 Route 28. I've been doing this this is my sixth year. I've never been to a site that was so messy, dirty, whatever you want to call it. I mean, abandoned cars, couches, things like that around it. So I hope your client is ready to,
With the, hopefully of the approval tonight of this request, everything will be removed, including the buildings.
okay, well, we'll talk about that when we get to it, but okay.
Again, for the record, my name is Kieran Healy. With me is Paul Mancuso from my office. We're requesting a COC for an old filing that was done at this property at 703 Route 28.
Okay. So we just look at the COC now?
Yeah, this is the COC hearing.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments about the COC before I make one? I already made one. I have a hard time voting for it until it gets cleaned up, you know?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so within the COC, what were the requirements? Brittany?
This is Paul Mancuso from the BSC Group. Can you hear me?
I can.
This is for a very old order of conditions that was done. I believe it was in the 70s. I might not have the year right, but this is for the riprap seawall that is along the river on the western side of the property. It was permitted long ago, and the plan of record that with the permit is a very old drawing. And as part of our notice of intent application, we surveyed the property, including the seawall, and we can confirm that the seawall was built, as far as we can tell, as it was permitted to be. And we only noticed that this old order existed when we went to start putting together the notice of intent package. I think it's the first thing on the notice of intent checklist is there an open order of conditions on the property? So we checked on the Yarmouth records, and we found this old order that BSC had nothing to do with, that the current owner had nothing to do with, but the riprap seawall was built long ago, and it appears to have been built in accordance with the approved plans. And so we were simply trying to close out that order in order to permit the notice of intent, the redevelopment of the already developed degraded riverfront area. So the notice of intent would be to clean up the whole site and get rid of the pavement and the existing buildings, and we're proposing the duplex structures as well as a vegetated buffer. But so I believe in order to according to the notice of intent checklist, we were trying to close out the old order first. So that was the goal. But the old order was news to us when we were searching the town records. But it's a very old order for the seawall, and it appears to have been built in compliance with the approved plans.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Me?
Yep.
Yeah. Hi, thank you. I have, could you put up the site plan?
For this seawall? Or the new one?
Wait a minute, C 2.0? What am I looking at the wrong job? Wait, this, the.
Yeah, this is
Right
703.
job, it's just that you're looking at the proposed work, and this is the COC for closing out the seawall from the 70s.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, wrong one. Oh.
Okay. Anybody else? So we can get to the cleaning of the site when we get to the next piece. So this is just to close out the COC. I jumped the gun also. Sorry. So can I hear a motion to close out this? Do you have anything else to say, Brittany, before I do that?
The health department is also reviewing the site for any health violations because the commission does have a valid point that there are potentially hazardous materials on site. While prevention of pollution is an interest of the act, the revetment was built in compliance, but there could be additional issues with the storage of the materials that are presently on the site that would need to be remedied before a new project is begun. But I would still recommend issuance of the COC.
Can we issue pending cleanup of the site, or would that hold up the NOI?
I think you can do that.
I think
Would you
that
like
would
to
be
do?
appropriate. And
If possible, we would like to close the old one and then put everything onto the new one so there's something that's current and everybody knows what's going on. You know, keeping the old COC from the 70s open, I don't think is going to further anything, especially if the commission were to agree to the other project tonight. As far as, I mean, it's obvious for us to construct these buildings, the entire site has to be completely laid bare. So everything will be removed from the site.
I'm not sure if the NOI will be passed tonight, and I would rather approve the COC pending cleanup so the cleanup can get started right away. That's just my thoughts.
Paul?
Yeah, I tend to agree that it might be a good idea to start with a clean slate. I mean, this is since 1975, okay? And to leave any shadow of a COC on it unapproved, to me, seems to be kind of unnecessary if the next step is going to be a description of what's going to happen with the site. And it sounds like what we're going to be told has something to do with cleaning the entire site in preparation for the next building project. So I personally would be in favor of closing out the COC if possible.
Jack?
I would agree. Essentially, the COC has got nothing to do with anything but the good construction of the wall. And it's held up for however many years. It'd be nice if it had already been done, but nothing to do with current uses, unless you wanted to tie it into something that had happened in 70, what year was it?
75.
75. I just think it's best to clean it up.
Okay, anybody else?
So in your comment, you were talking about the next project, when you said you
For
didn't want.
me,
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to
'cause
talk
they're not-
about
right.
cleanup in the next project.
Yeah, it's more
but,
applicable, okay.
I would just say, though, that the order of conditions is a permit to perform work. It's not a requirement to perform work. So they could have that permit and not decide to do the work, and the site can still remain as is with hazards that can have impact to our wetland resources. So I would agree with Commissioner Bauer in that cleanup should be a requirement and not pending a potential permit for a potential project that may not happen.
What cleanup means, I mean, the riverfront area is degraded. If we were to remedy that situation prior to, hearing this notice of intent, then we wouldn't be redeveloping a disturbed riverfront area. The situation is a disturbed riverfront area, and the whole project is to redevelop that and clean it. And with the proposed conditions and the native plant buffer, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure what the cleanup would be. I mean, is it just removing materials, but the pavement and everything, all the buildings are going to stay? I mean,
No, so
everything
I
will
think
be
we're
removed.
primarily talking about all of the potentially hazardous materials, including oil and other mysterious liquids on site that could be pollutants. So everything on site that's loose in these buckets, barrels, bins, cisterns. There's a lot on site that are active pollutants, where it is overlapping with the health department and hazardous materials, and we could pursue it that way. But it
So
could
just
be a
clearing the
potential
stuff basically
issue.
off the pavement, anything near the pavement that.
Yeah,
that-
debris.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're not talking about like cleaning up the site so
No
that
construction.
we wouldn't be redeveloping a disturbed riverfront area.
No, definitely not.
I guess is the thought that with Mr. Bauer's idea that we would keep the certificate of compliance off the books and keep the old order open to get the cleanup done, but that wouldn't interfere with us going forward tonight to get permission, hopefully, to do the work that we are proposing to do.
I guess in theory, I have a lot of questions on the other project, so.
That's fine. That's why we're here. That's why there's two of us here. So to answer those questions.
I think just the hope is to get the work moving, to get those potentially hazardous materials out of the riverfront area.
Okay. Is it okay for us to keep the open order while we go forward with the additional order, one being for a seawall and the other one for being the redevelopment for the site?
I think that's fine as long as they're both on the path toward closure.
Okay. Then I would request to the September 17th hearing a continuance of the certificate of compliance request so that we have a chance to clean up the site.
Do you think it'll take that long?
I don't know, just we're back on the 17th, so I said that's as good as day as any.
Can't we
3 months from now.
approve the COC now, just pending the
That's
cleanup?
more of what I was thinking, yeah.
So get started on we can approve the COC tonight, get started on the cleanup tomorrow, and as soon as you're done, let Brittany know and she'll
Send some
issue the
photos, yeah.
COC.
And that'd be perfect if we can get the COC approved, subject to us cleaning for it to be issued, then that's fine.
Do you want to make that motion? Oh, wait a
I
minute.
want to know what Brittany or anybody else thinks how that cleanup relates to a wall.
Well, it's the site conditions as well. When you're approving a COC, you're kind of approving all of the conditions that are, I mean,
At the
it
site.
doesn't have anything to do with the revetment at all, no. But the site in itself is not in compliance because of potential hazards. I think it's
Yes,
pretty
but
easy to
it's gonna
remove
take-
them.
Yeah.
Could we make the condition for the COC, I mean, there should be a sense of urgency in getting rid of the hazardous material. I mean, that should not be there. OSHA could come there, and so in our due diligence, we should not approve a project knowing that. So I think the best that we could do is approve the COC for the revetment, but contingent on getting rid of the hazardous material at a minimum. I don't think we're talking about cleaning the entire site, like site clearing. It's just, you gotta remove the
Sorry, this-
crap.
I guess I have a question. Do you expect to encounter more materials as you get into the buildings and continue with the demo? Because I could see how it might be beneficial to get rid of some of those things at the same time, perhaps.
I walked through the building about 6 months ago, and everything I saw on the inside was metal and wooden desks and chairs. I didn't see any storage of liquids, but not to say there isn't something in there. I was walking in general through it, but the majority of it was chairs, tables, desks, and stuff along that idea.
What's going on in the back of that building? When we were there were people working back there with machines and saws and,
There is a workshop back there. I'm not quite sure what, I wasn't in that section.
okay.
I'm not quite sure.
That's where I think we have potential for something. We didn't go back in there either. We just did it from the outside. Jack, you wanted to say something?
I'd like to know the history of uses of that site. Do you have any?
When I got to Cape Cod in 1985, it was known as the Gardner Tile Business. And it was a tile shop. I'm not sure if it was connected with the tile factory that was behind the West Yarmouth Post Office.
I'm sorry, tire or tile?
Tile. And in the 70s and 80s and early 90s, I believe it was used as a tile shop. Since then, it's been used as different types of furniture and office sales, office tables, chairs type of stuff.
Well,
It really hasn't been that much of an active business in the last 30 years.
well, like David says, when we were there were machinery, they were obviously cutting plastics and metal to assemble windows possibly. And I really have I think we're gonna have to do some drilling to get, I don't know how far, to get tests of the soil. That's what I'm going to propose in the future. And I think that unless we have an absolute good description of the uses of that building, I think we have to worry about the health of the river.
So, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, in a certain way, I feel like we're putting the cart before the horse here a little bit, because clearly this place is being purchased so that it could be cleaned up, revitalized, and renewed in terms of a new building, okay? And the condition of it now, as a couple people said, has nothing to do with the revetment, is what condition this place was allowed to kind of deteriorate into, which is the whole purpose of redeveloping the site and making it a better riverside kind of a building and so on. So, again, I don't know if, it seems to me we should be able to grant the COC and then move on, and all of the things that we're talking about could be addressed as we hear the presentation, and the people are presenting probably are gonna tell us a lot of things about what they're gonna do to clean up the site. So, I would recommend we pass the COC and then go on from there. And maybe I'm misunderstanding something, because sometimes it's hard for me to hear what everybody's saying down that end, but that's what I'm gathering, okay?
Jack, and then go to.
Maybe, Brittany, you could explain to me again the connection between current condition when you're approving the COC versus somebody saying, well, you're not really worrying about current condition, you're worrying only about the original condition and quality of work.
I mean, that's up to you how you'd like to view the work, the possible hazardous material on site. It could be a violation. We could be addressing it that way.
To be a what?
It could be a violation. You could address it that way. But since you have a certificate of compliance request open in front of you, it's another venue to get action on the site, which is required action, as opposed to issuing an order of conditions with special conditions, which would only then be required if work takes place.
I'm gonna just go to Paul up there. Paul?
What?
I mean, I totally understand what you're saying. Our client, the purpose of the whole project, I mean, we put a lot of work into this, is to redevelop the site and clean it up and put the duplex buildings in and establish the native buffer. If the permit is issued, I'm very confident that is what he intends to do. I don't think he had us do all this to get the permit, then not do the work. But I do understand that you want to get it cleaned up. I understand that you could attach it to the COC or the notice. I believe either way, the client is going to clean up the site as we are going to propose with the notice. I mean, it's up to you guys how you decide we do it, but the site will be cleaned up either way. Whether you make us do it before you issue the COC or is contingent upon the COC being issued is whether we clean it versus attaching it to the notice. That's part of the plan for a client regardless. So, I mean, however you guys want to proceed with that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We're not redeveloping this site because there's garbage bags on it. I'm getting a little frustrated here. This site has junk on it. All we're asking is for that junk to get removed. You're tying it into the redevelopment, like the redevelopment is because we have, again, trash bags on the pavement. But I can't believe I don't hear any sense of urgency from the applicant or the representative to get rid of those buckets. Do you see them? We can't, in our good conscience, or at least I, in my good conscience, can't look at a project with that crap in it, especially if it's a safety hazard. I'm not talking about the whole site and clearing. That's part of a redevelopment project, clearing and grubbing and all that. But this removing that, come on. I mean, what's stopping you from removing that?
Okay. So we need to get to a,
Does someone make a motion either way?
I move that we issue the COC pending cleanup of hazardous materials.
I
Okay.
second.
second. So everybody clear what we're voting on? Yeah?
Are you going to include how, you're talking about surface removal?
Right now,
Surface
we'll get to the dirt removal.
Buckets
during-
and easily movable things.
Yeah. Things like what's
You can
up there.
address
Yeah,
soil
but
conditions
but
later.
you do leave yourself open to some interpretation in terms of what removing hazardous materials, because as soon as you open a door, put a shovel of dirt in the ground, you find something else. It's just cleaning up antifreeze, whatever the heck that is, and things like that.
And
Why wouldn't
buckets.
why wouldn't that happen in the next phase?
Why wouldn't it happen now?
Because now in the next phase,
Was there
By the time
was there a requirement to move it by anyone other than the Conservation Commission? For example, did the Health Department go in from 1975 to this moment in time and say, hey, you gotta clean this place up?
it
For
wasn't like
assessing
that
it,
in
yeah.
1975, to be fair. I mean, I don't, I know when I was growing up here or coming down for the summers, it was what you said, a tile place and then a furniture place. I think a lot of this stuff is relatively recent. And yes, the health department is looking into it.
Are we waiting to
The
hear?
Health Department do what they do, you know? I mean, I'll go along with folks here, but I think we're, again, putting the cart before the horse. We know that there's a application for a permit to redo this place, and certainly what that's going to include, I would think, would be the total and very specific cleanup of the property, not just worrying about a few gallons of something out in the back
Which-
loading dock.
Which
here.
could spill. So, I mean, let's get rid of it now. That's my feeling.
Yeah, okay, all right, fine, I don't know, yeah. I also don't know why people would leave stuff around like that anyway. You see a lot of places in this town and other towns where people don't take exactly perfect care of their property, and this is another example. And it's an egregious example because of the fact that it's right on the river, you know, but there was a building on 28 that burnt, I don't know how many years ago, and I don't even know if it's still there or not, but
You talk about the one near the post office? West
the old Western supply store there. You know, there are things around that are dilapidated and messy and dirty and probably dangerous in terms of some of the stuff inside them. So
I think
That's
I'd
not
call
our,
for order-
that's a
call
health
for a
department.
vote.
Yeah, the motion's
Yeah,
on the
let's call
is,
floor.
for a vote.
A
We
vote?
have it-
Made
did
a
we have
motion,
second?
Ellie seconded.
You seconded, okay. All in favor of approving the COC with pending the cleanup of visual waste, hazardous waste?
I would certainly approve that, but I guess I would be open to adding it to the next.
I think we're
phase
gonna
of-
add other things to
The
the
motion
next phase.
is,
Call, you vote on this.
Right, let's call the vote.
Those in favor?
Those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody negative?
I'll abstain,
Okay, didn't see you vote, so, okay, so,
thinking about it.
yeah, I could see the smoke.
Can I know the vote just happened, can I ask a question? When you say the health department is looking at it, are they looking at this application or the next application, or are they just looking at the property?
Just the property.
You're right, so there's exposure there, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they just haven't gotten back to me on the outcome.
Right, and they're looking at it because when we went out there, Joe went and talked to them after we came back. So, I don't think they were conscious of what was going on there until we pointed it out. So, okay, so it's 6-0 to 1 abstention. Do you have that all?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
Okay, so I think that was good.
Please,
What?
sign that COC, please.
Which one's the COC?
The top one that's
This one? Can I send this down separately? Okay. There you go. All right, now we'll go to the next one, which is SC 83-2531, BSC Group of Stephen Katz, 703 Route 28, proposed site redevelopment and land subject to coastal storm floodage, riverfront area and buffer zone to a coastal bank. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. For the record, my name is Kieran Healy. I'm a land surveyor with the BSC Group. With me tonight is Paul Mancuso, wetland scientist with BSC Group. We are proposing the redevelopment of this site at 703 Route 28. Currently, the property is made up of one large building with multiple roof lines. We're proposing to remove that and to build 3 duplex buildings that will be flood zone compliant. Being compliant means in this case that we are going to have parking garages at the current grade, and we are going to have the buildings elevated to well above the flood zone, so there will be no flood zone issue. This is an AE flood zone, and it is running right up along Parkers River. As far as disturbances go, currently there are 1,359 square feet of existing disturbance within the 0 to 35-foot buffer. We're proposing to eliminate all of that, so there will be 0 structure within the 0 to 35-foot buffer. Currently, there is 591 square feet of structure. We're going to reduce that to 140 square feet, which would be a net reduction of 451 square feet within the 35 to 50-foot buffer. Currently, there's 2,758 square feet of minor structures and hardscape. We're reducing that to a total of 370 square feet, which would be a net reduction of 2,388 square feet. On the 50 to 100-foot buffer to the coastal bank, we have an area of structures of 3,196. We have a proposed structures of 6,426, which would be an increase of 3,230 in the 50 to 100-foot buffer. In the area of minor structures and hardscape within the 50 to 100, we currently have 8,619 square feet. We're reducing that to 2,259 square feet, a net reduction of 6,360. Overall, we're reducing from basically almost 12,000 to 8,500, a reduction of exact 3,130 square feet of disturbance on the site. The entire site is within the 200-foot riverfront, as well as there being flood zone throughout the entire site, And we do have the 50 and 100-foot buffers that also cross the site. Part of our proposal is to literally remove every single thing that is on site, and then start working on the buffers. You have a landscape plan in the set that will depict how we are proposing to do that. The property is a little unusual in that there are a couple of easements on the site that are subject to the benefit the town of Yarmouth. There's a 15-foot wide vehicle easement that is between the 0 and 35-foot coastal bank. We have no idea why it went in. We've done research on it. We've asked questions about it. We don't know why it's there, but it is there, and it's entirely within the 0 to 35-foot buffer. We don't plan on using it. We don't plan on doing anything there other than putting grass. And if the town of Yarmouth come to us and say they want to enforce their easement, then that's something that they will have to file with the Conservation Commission to do. But we are not doing anything at all with the town of Yarmouth's easement, other than planting grass and removing the existing pavement that is there. We have some mulched pedestrian paths down to the top of the bank, where there is a 20-foot wide pedestrian easement that runs right along the top of the bank. For those of you out there, you'll have seen that there are some benches adjacent to the bank, and that easement is also to the town of Yarmouth inhabitants, where they can utilize that area. We're not looking to block it up, even though we are planting it and trying to enhance it. And the benches that are there along the top of that wall will remain. You can see some stone around those areas on the north side of that photograph. And there are also some benches with some basically viewing areas through the middle of that. We are proposing a subsurface drainage system for the entire area, for the driveways and the buildings themselves. That will be completely captured by an infiltration system. We are proposing to remove the 2 curb cuts that are out there and reduce it to 1. As I mentioned in my list of changes earlier, there is a substantial reduction in the amount of pavement that is on this site within the 0 to 200-foot riverfront area. I guess at this stage you have a set of plans that a full set there which show all the things we're proposing. If there's anything I could answer, I'd be glad to do so. And as I mentioned, part of this will be the cleanup of the site, but we will be on that sooner rather than later based on the last filing.
Oh, your hand's still up. Do you want to add something, or just forgot to take your hand down?
One thing I wanted to add, Kieran said everything is being removed. There are 3 native trees that have a DBH of 4 inches or greater, and we have marked those, and those are going to stay, and the planted buffer will go around those existing native trees. And also, I believe Mackenzie from BSC, one of the engineers, is also on the call. If there are any engineering questions, I believe she is here as well.
Yes, I'm here. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah,
we
we
hear
hear
you.
Great.
Okay. Start with anybody at the Conservation Commission that have questions, comments? If not, I'll just start. And then you want to go first? You
Oh.
didn't get your hand up fast enough. No, go ahead.
Oh. Anyways, okay. On the site plan, I wasn't clear on the extent of the new driveway, C 2.0, the drawing,
Sure, if I could just bring your attention to this right here.
yeah, that one, yeah.
The new driveway is just purely this.
What material is that?
It'll be bituminous.
Okay, so,
That's why we have the drainage
right,
catch-up.
so it
anything
will
that's there.
go into the buffer zones.
Oh, no, definitely not. It won't go in there. We have drainage, there's a
corner
drainage
of it?
plan there which shows catch basins to capture anything in that roof.
Well, where the buffer turns, the driveway will cut into
Yeah, and the 150 to 100, yeah.
part of the,
The existing blacktop is here
right?
within the 35-foot buffer, and we're pushing everything back as far as we
Right.
can.
But-
We have to have this access for the fire department to get in this far.
But I'm talking about, you know, how do I explain that? Can you point to the buffer line I'm talking about? Right,
This one up here?
those lines there. So that's what I'm saying, the new driveway will be within,
Absolutely, the new driveway, there will be a portion of the new driveway within the 100-foot buffer.
thank you. So what is hard for me to see, and maybe I don't, could you just walk me through where it says in writing in your narrative, the area of proposed impacts to the riverfront area, the RFA, are significantly less than existing amount of degraded area of RFA. The existing degraded RFA on site is 20,997, which you itemize somewhere else. I think there's a chart. And we're just kind of going in good faith here on those calculations unless there's a way you can delineate that on the plans. I'm not sure. It looks like just from scaling that you took the whole entire site, because that's about 21,000 square feet. So that's all. I would like some clarification on how you did that calculation that says, because a lot is determined on that.
Paul, do you have
Maybe
that?
you could walk me through how you came up with the 20,997
Basically,
square
it's
feet.
a function of one of the surveyors or one of the CAD people in my office drawing lines between the structures and the individual buffer lines, and we calculate what each one of those is. Between the 0 to 35 for structure, between the 0 to 35 for existing.
I think Ellie's just asking about the riverfront, the degraded riverfront calculation.
Pretty much the entire site fits into the degraded riverfront calculation. The whole site is within the 200 riverfront.
But not all of it's degraded. It should just be the pavement areas. Was that how the calculation was done, or did it include other areas as well?
It would have been the degraded areas.
So, but lawn is not a degraded. Say it again, Paul?
The pavement in the buildings, the existing hardscape areas, I believe.
Yeah, so that's it, and it doesn't include any of the lawn area?
I mean, I'm not an engineer, I did not do the calculation, but I believe, yeah, generally we would have calculated the areas that have impervious surface as degraded.
That's correct. We only included impervious areas, building areas with buildings, and then any hardscape.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
Did that answer your question?
Well, I'd like to see that delineated on the plan somehow, like just outline the areas that you considered, because I unless somebody else can see them, I can't see them.
So on the plan, there's an edge of pavement line, which I believe was within the 0 to 35 foot buffer. So anything landward of that is basically hardscape currently.
Isn't there any way that you can show your calculation? I mean, you took an area and you, that's all I'm asking. If not, it's fine. I mean, I'm gonna ask for something you can't provide.
I guess at this stage, all we can provide to you is to show you where the edge of the pavement is and show that, I mean, I can draw a perimeter line and say this is it, but then that would be over the edge of pavement line, so you wouldn't be able to see the edge of pavement.
I don't know, maybe I'm just in a bad mood tonight, but you digitized something to come up with that quantity. All I'm asking is that you indicate on the plan what you digitized to come up with that area. That's all. That's all. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, I think if you could just provide a supplemental defining how you delineated the degraded riverfront, just because a lot of applicants also include lawn as degraded when it's not. So just a single statement saying all existing paved areas with buildings or structures on them were included in the degraded measurement would
And
suffice,
if
I
I
think.
could have you just scroll out just a little
Yeah,
bit.
sorry. So we do have the edge of pavement.
So here's, running right along here. Comes out to here to a little bit to the road, and then all the way along the back side, the back of the building, and back out to the street.
The driveway is new, and that,
The driveway, the majority of the driveway goes through the building in this area.
and is the existing driveway shown?
Edge of pavement here, this is all blacktop, and you have an edge of pavement line running right here. EOP for edge of
I know
pavement.
the scope, it's a substantial area, and I just don't know how you came up with it, that's all.
Am I right that the existing building is where the driveway's going?
Primarily, yes. Here's the existing blacktop right now, and we're running the driveway right along here.
And that's where the existing building is?
Correct. This dashed line right here is the outside of the existing building.
It does look like it kind of disappears right here. But that's minor.
It actually goes like this, Brittany. Edge of pavement. The edge of pavement picks back up here.
It just turns down and over the leaching field.
Right, and actually that's one thing I didn't mention. The leaching field right here is approximately 20 feet from the top of the coastal bank. 35 feet from the top of the coastal bank in this area. And we are removing this septic system entirely, and we will be connecting to the town sewer when that's available. We are not proposing a septic system on this site.
Okay. Get back to my notes. Anybody else before I ask a few questions? Yes.
Just a small one, the leaching field that's there now. I know some, you mentioned a tile built, tile type of office, or was it building tile or just selling, you know?
I do not believe they were creating the tile in this place. I believe they were selling.
And that would include cutting and similar activity?
I don't believe so. I mean,
Okay.
generally the tile cutters cut on site.
Yeah.
My brother's a tiler, and I've never known him to get something cut at the store. He always cuts on site.
Oh,
So-
sure, yeah. And so I'm worried about what may be in that leaching field, because I know when they, come to your house, they dump whatever they clean right into the basement sink. And I worry about what kind of operations may have really, left remnants of hazardous waste in that leaching field.
I can understand your concern, but I wouldn't necessarily expect it because they typically would be washing their hands, and they were in sales, so they were just literally moving the stuff.
Would they be, would you folks be willing to just take out that leaching field, or would it be too much rather than crushing and leaving it?
If the commission feels that it's warranted, I mean, I can't speak for my client, but it's definitely added expense to do so.
Sure.
I think my fear is not the stores. It's what's going on behind those stores right now and what's going down those drains into the leaching field, the septic tank and the leaching field. I mean, I don't know, you don't know.
Right, but drains are generally not connected to septic systems. So,
I'm talking about if they're sending things down the sink.
right, okay.
I think we might be getting a little off scope here.
I just have a couple things. First of all, I want to say that this certainly is an improvement over what's there now. And I think, I want to make sure your client, we're not here to stop this. What we're here to do is make sure what we end up with is okay, but it's certainly a vast improvement of what's there now. I already talked about the building in the back and being concerned about that. The work limit line, did I see that on here?
Yeah, I think it's. I can't find the right page. There's a lot of plan sheets.
It's shown on sheet C-1.0.
Got it. Yeah, so it looks like you have the work limit line at the absolute property limit.
Yes?
Why are we grubbing all of the vegetation on site? Is it entirely invasive species?
We did go there and sort of inventory the species. There's a lot of autumn olive, which is invasive. There's some bittersweet that's also invasive. There's a little bit of multiflora rose that is invasive. And there are some native things growing amongst that. I believe Cali pear was another species of tree we saw that's invasive. But there there are some natives, but they're sort of mixed up with the invasives. And so by removing it all, I mean, we're going to keep the larger existing native trees. There's one big red cedar kind of by the existing building in the back. There's a hawthorn tree out front, kind of you can see from the road. And then I forget what the other one was. The three larger native trees, we will make an effort to keep, but everything else, there's a ton of autumn olive sort of growing interspersed with everything, as well as those other invasives. And we're providing, I believe, over a couple hundred shrubs, varying in height and a handful of trees. So
in your opinion, as a wetland scientist, none of those natives are worth saving?
I think it would be difficult, and we're providing a very full planting plan for that size of an area. There may be some shrubs that are keepable, but counting out individual small shrubs over an area that big is, I mean, when there's invasives all around them, that's difficult to do.
So is the only invasive species management strategy to grub everything? Is there any follow-up treatment planned for resprouting invasive species if any root material remains?
We have not proposed one. If the commission would feel that is needed, that could be discussed. I'm sure the client does not want this area that he's going to put 200 shrubs in to get overrun with invasives. So I'm sure he has some shared interest in keeping the invasives out, but there is no management plan.
I think the management plan would be a great addition.
I would like to see an invasive species management plan if what you're saying is so much invasives there.
Yeah.
Dave, can I go from that point?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just taking note.
What is the management plan for that whole walkway, and the owners are going to maintain that?
Well, in our landscape plan, you'll see that we've kept the same access and the same
Yes,
view
but-
corridors.
Okay, so you're going to have those openings,
Yes.
but my point is day-to-day maintenance, are you going to put in trash cans out there for people? Are you going to put lighting? Is there some kind of maintenance for all of that?
It's the town of Yarmouth's easement. We're not responsible to maintain what the town of Yarmouth is utilizing.
Well, okay, I understand
Other than
that.
maintain access.
You did say that you were gonna put mulch down there. Why wouldn't you just leave it as a path that doesn't have anything on it?
If the commission would prefer, we'd gladly leave it as a stone pad.
Okay.
Have you approached the town, probably Natural Resources or somebody in the town or whomever would be in charge of that, how that's going to be maintained? And
I have not, it would
that's
be.
an area that could
yeah.
be crime, could be lots of things. Police will have to probably,
I mean, it's an existing easement, so anything that's there and happening now would continue. I don't know who probably parks.
It's
but
a
I don't
wide
wanna-
open spot, so as far as access, crime area, it would be on the low level of a potential crime because it's just so wide open. And when these 6 units go in there, there's going to be people year-round living in those units, which is going to also hopefully help reduce any risk of crime.
I think when you look at it now, it's almost an impassable path. We walked it, we didn't quite make it all the way, so it'll be a cleaner path when you move all the invasives out, I assume. Is your question dealing more with what happens when plantings grow over the path? Who's going to maintain that? Is that the towns?
It's a gray area, Mr. Chairman, and I'm not going to tell you one way or the other because I don't know. It's, do the town even care anymore? Somebody cares. I believe our client was the one who put in the benches. But I don't know if the town of Yarmouth even cares about this particular location. But the easement exists, so we're not going to inhibit anybody from utilizing the easement.
Fair enough.
Ask another question on the stormwater. As I understand it, you said that the buildings are above.
Correct, they're elevated buildings and with full drive-under garages underneath them.
But you're keeping the first floor open? And their parking is there?
No, it's not a building on pilings.
No, I
It's
understand.
not in the velocity zone, it's in the A zone. So we can't finish them in any manner down there, but there'll be concrete with flood vents in there to allow any flood waters to go in and out.
And I guess my only point would be that if you left it entirely open, their owners of each unit could put their own, or change the way it's organized so they could put more cars on that first floor?
I don't understand.
I don't understand where you're going at it with this.
You have 2 cars right now, right, for each floor?
We have 2 cars that can fit in each unit, yes.
And you've been asked if maybe you could increase that to 4, but you don't think that's related to the flooding issues?
No, it's just purely because the driveway is purely an access driveway, we can't park in the driveway. The cars have to park inside the vehicles, or Unit 6 won't be able to get access, or the fire department wouldn't be able to get access. So the vehicles do need to park inside the buildings.
Okay, so we have no leverage. That's what I hear.
I'm not sure what
I
you're
don't see
worried
there's
about.
an
What you
issue.
mean?
Well, if there are storms were reaching that first floor, then usually when we are setting up excuse me, stormwater regulations, like on the ocean front, you would say that, and this is pretty close to the ocean front, you'd keep that, if it were a basement, you'd have certain kind of conditions you have to meet. If it's a first floor issue, you have to leave it open obstructed.
Yeah, those ones on the ocean would all be in the velocity zone. with
Yeah,
this being in
that's
the
what
A
I'm
zone.
saying.
But because the basement slab slash, that's not the right term, because of the garage slab is at grade, everything is elevated, the first floor is going to be 10 feet in the air. Because the
Or the
garage
ground
floor,
floor, yes.
the ground floor will be 10 feet in the, sorry, the first living floor will be 10 feet in the air.
Yeah, but I'm
Ground
talking
floor
about
would
the
be the-
ground floor, or what do you call that?
The garage slab.
The flood vents meet all the requirements that we have right now.
No, so, I
Okay.
just wanted to find out.
We're going to move ahead then. Anybody else? I do have a question about units, what did I write it? I think it's units 2 and 4 are in the 50-foot buffer. Therefore, we'd have to have a variance.
Well, you already have structure within the 50-foot buffer, so I believe it's a reduction in the amount of structure within the 50-foot buffer. Currently, we have 591 square feet of structure in there, and we're reducing it to 140 square feet. So it's a net reduction of 451 square feet of structure within the 35 to 50-foot buffer.
I don't see any structure in the 50-foot buffer on the existing conditions.
If I could, right here, scroll up if you would.
Step down.
All of this section right here is in the 50-foot buffer.
Okay. I see. Thank you.
Okay. Obviously, we've talked about the cleaning up the area. I would like to see a soil test done as part of the conditions. So I don't know what's underneath, what's leaked, if anything, hopefully nothing. You probably wouldn't want to build a building over hazardous waste material either. If
We
there's
wouldn't.
any.
There is actually some peat out there which has to be removed. So we have to go down a decent bit to get to a stable surface.
So you have to do geotechnical borings? Just
We've done soil
borings.
tests. I don't think we need to do geotechnical because the peat was down approximately 5 feet.
Oh.
So it was still above the groundwater, so we would remove that and then we'd be into good sand.
So the groundwater is how deep at that point?
Approximately 5.5 feet. It's on, there's a septic design, oh, sorry, not a septic design, but there is information on that on the plan.
And that's pretty much for the whole site, say a middle line down through the site?
Yeah, the site is incredibly flat. I think there's about 6 inches of relief from the front to the back.
And that fence that's back there, the high cedar fence is already there? It's not a new fence.
No, that is a new fence between us and the condo to the
Okay.
east.
And that'll have a 6-inch or some kind of space underneath, on the bottom?
If the commission would like, then we can
Yep.
put in the space. It's more of a divider than it is
Yep.
of, because it's open on the back and it's open on the front, so.
Anybody else?
Well, when you say the soil tests, how far down are you gonna go, would you say?
The original perk test that went down there went down approximately 9.5 feet.
Oh, okay.
We went through the peak.
Okay. Bradford, you have anything? Anybody else?
I just have one last
ahead.
question. I have a question on the width of the driveway. There's no way that that can be narrowed. I don't, there must be some criteria. I'm just, it obviously keeps the buildings, you know, where they are, and just, I didn't know why it couldn't encroach
Fire
further.
engines.
Is it fire code, is it code, the driveway?
Yes, it's fire department that's pushing the size and the location. And the zoning requirement requires us to be 10 feet from the property line with the driveway. We're exactly 10 feet from the property line with the driveway.
Is there going to be access through to the other road on the south side?
There isn't, that was our original plan, but that other road has been expunged and is no longer a road, and even though it physically exists, we do not appear to have rights to use it.
I see.
It's
You're talking
actually,
about the road in the,
Yeah, the south
back?
side.
yeah. Okay.
originally the record plan showed access and frontage on that roadway, but there was a later plan that eliminated the roadway.
Okay. Brittany, you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just have a couple more questions on the planting. You say this area is going to be that meadow mix, but there's no information on how you plan to maintain it. Are you going to leave it to grow, or is it going to be maintained as lawn?
I'll defer to Paul on that.
Paul, did you hear the question?
I'm sorry, I had myself muted. I believe the areas around the buildings will be maintained as lawn, and the additional seeding that will go within the planting area for the erosion control mix, that will be left to grow.
So still unclear. The 35-foot buffer should be allowed to grow as meadow. Is that part of the plan?
Yeah, I mean, within the planting area, that was the plan. If you guys would like to extend that to the 35, we can do that. And they could put in some kind of, marker delineating that, no mow zone or whatever.
Yeah, that would be excellent, I think.
Obviously, we'd prefer to have a little bit of room there so that people would have some space outside the house to utilize.
So I mean, ultimately, it's unclear. We need to know what you're proposing. The commission, I would prefer that it be meadow, since it's within the no disturb buffer, understanding there is that easement there, and they need to be able to drive over it, so no shrubs or anything. What are the commission's thoughts?
I like the idea of a meadow, but I do agree that it should be clearer what's going to be meadow versus what would be lawn. So just some clarity on that would be great.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we need a clearer planting plan.
For the seeded areas, yes, we need to know. And preference for meadow within the 35 as much as possible. I mentioned in the comments I sent a couple of weeks ago that we should use straight species for the planted trees on the front side, the street trees. They're still shown as a variety on the plan. Can we do straight species for those red maples?
Yes, sorry, I thought we had fixed that. Yeah, we can do regular red maple, not the flame one.
Excellent. And my last, I think, question. A lot of the proposed spacing you have on here is much further than the approved spacing in the Cape Cod Cooperative Extension list. And we have an overwhelming majority of small shrubs, which I understand, but we are replacing a good amount of large plant material here. So if the commission, it's up to your preference, but my preference would be for some higher proportion of the larger shrubs in these areas where there were some before.
I mean, the majority of the shrubs that we're removing that are large are invasive.
Yeah.
So
Understood. Can we meet
we have a
the
pretty
spacing?
dense buffer of plantings.
Okay. But can we meet the spacing of the recommended spacing for the?
Yeah, we can pull the spacing from the Cape Cod Cooperative Extension.
Okay. That was my last comment. If the commission is considering requiring soil testing, I would recommend you be a little bit more specific or have someone else weigh in on the soil testing as needed who's more familiar with that, if you're going to put that in the order of conditions so that they know exactly what kind of soil testing they need to be doing.
Okay.
Oh, my question,
You have a question, or
oh,
you want to deal with the soil testing
oh,
first?
the soil testing, it would be required within the footprint of the buildings, specifically because people are living in them, so.
That's where it's already happening, right?
Well, we did test pits out there for to see what groundwater was. We didn't do testing out there to see what was in the soil. We tested to see what kind of soil it was, but not what was in the soil.
That's what you're asking.
That's what, I think that's what we're asking for. I don't know how specific that is for you, though.
Was there a sale?
I asked
of
that
this
question on
property,
there,
or
please,
is this,
David.
just like a redevelopment?
It is a sale for this property, not just a redevelopment. The person who's redeveloping didn't own it, the property originally?
The person who's redeveloping it does own the property.
Okay. That answers your question.
Sometimes they do. No, testing
talk a
when
little
they change hands.
Just a question on the soil testing. Would that also be a requirement of the health department or some other department in town? Do we know? Or is it just a conservation issue?
I think that would be, it feels like that's not in our purview. I mean, I'm saying stuff that should be said by the building inspector or the building department.
Oh, the health department?
Well, protection of groundwater supply and protection from pollution and prevention of pollution are in your purview. So,
Because it's within the 200-foot buffer. The whole property is.
Will it be duplicated by the health department or just our responsibility?
I don't know the answer to that question.
You don't know?
I mean, they've been told that this is an area of concern by us, and
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know how much further we can go.
I would think that for example, the building department, health department would be interested in what's in the ground there, but if it's
I would
our
hope so, yeah.
responsibility, it's our responsibility.
Certainly the health department.
Yeah, well, building too, because you're building stuff on top of it, so maybe there's some requirement there, I don't know.
It's a different requirement.
Yeah, that's what I was,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what? Can you talk a little louder into your mic?
Yeah, that would be a different requirement. It wouldn't be environmental testing if the building department was going to do some type of sampling.
It wouldn't be what?
It wouldn't be environmental sampling if the building department was going
Okay.
to sample.
That's fine.
Do you know what kind of things environmental testing?
I mean, based on what it looks like was happening there, probably oil and
Oils
gas,
and gas and
maybe metals.
heavy metals. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But we can get a confirmation of, I think just soil testing in 3 locations at a depth of like 4 feet would probably be fine. And I don't
Say
think that
around
would be
groundwater, because usually oil and
5
gas
feet.
sits on
5
top
to.
of the water table.
Groundwater discharge, yeah. I was just gonna ask about the native tree. Why, there's probably an obvious reason why it's gotta go. I was just curious what the
did.
reason was.
Proximity to the building.
Unit 6, it's near the sidewalk. Native tree to be removed near Unit 6. Is it even there?
It's
It's this
down.
little cedar.
Yeah,
It's
it's
purely
just
the proximity to the building.
too,
it's
too
just too
close to
close.
the building.
Okay, anybody else? Jack, yeah?
The washout, as I remember, there's a washout area that you're putting in or keeping for fueling, vehicle, truck equipment washing? Or is that not, there is none?
If on one of the pages you'll see our not erosion control, but our site control for the demo, because once the buildings come down and all the blacktop comes up, it's going to get muddy. So we have a line of stone along the entranceway that will help decrease the mud that goes on to Route 28, which is standard practice.
But once you're constructing, are you going to be refueling and so forth on site?
No,
No, there
there'll
wouldn't
be no need to refuel on
Okay.
site.
And just out of my own personal, what can you describe in 20 words, Caltech system?
A Caltech system, actually, how about we let Mackenzie answer the Caltech system?
Sure. There's also a detail on sheet C5-1, which is pretty helpful to get an understanding, but it's pretty much 100% void space chambers that allow stormwater to fill up within the chambers, and then the chambers themselves are engulfed in crushed stone. So that will also allow for stormwater to be stored within and infiltrate into the ground. Is that enough, or do you want to go deeper?
And there's no purification or filtering or anything of,
treatment.
except for the
No.
basic,
Yeah, treatment is provided by the water quality inlets. So we have low spots throughout the driveway, and so the runoff from the driveway will be routed into those inlets.
Okay.
That will allow for pre-treatment, and then it will be sent into the Caltex.
Okay. Anybody in the audience? Anybody else online? They moved where you guys are, and that's why I missed them last time. I don't, Paul, do you still have your hand raised? No? Okay.
Sorry, I don't know how to put it down.
He's gone.
Got the hook.
He hooked himself. Okay, so do I hear a motion to accept with special conditions?
I asked for an
Yeah,
invasive
we asked
species
for a lot of
management plan,
things.
so
You
I
asked
think
for a
we need-
okay.
to continue for revisions.
So the things we discussed were an invasive species management plan, a clear delineation between a meadow and proposed lawn with maintenance detailed, so like meadow mowed twice a year or regular mowing of that lawn. 6-inch clearance below the fence, improve the spacing for the planting list to match the Barnstable County, and do the straight species for the red maple. So most of that is on the planting plan. So looks like a revised planting plan and the invasive species management plan.
Okay, so we want to continue to get to get those plans.
Not to be a pest, but could I have the delineation of the RFA?
Oh, and the description of the degraded area calculation.
I will create a plan specifically for that and put a red line on it so it's easily identifiable. With so many lines on these plans, sometimes it's not clear, so we'll put a bit of color on it and hopefully it makes it easier to read.
Can you put the calendar up? What's good for you? Our next meeting's the 18th, and then we have one on the 2nd.
I would say the next meeting would be possible. Paul, is the invasive management okay for the next meeting? You'd need to get it in next week.
We can do that, yep.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to continue to the 18th?
So moved.
Second, someone? Second. Jack was second. All in favor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Gotta get get all this stuff together again. It's gonna be a minute before we go to the next one, because I have a lot of papers here. To keep. Okay, let's skip this. That goes there. This goes here. Okay, next. SE 83-2532, Down Cape Engineering for Robin Griffin, 0 Great Island Road. After the fact filing, excuse me, for replacement stairs and boardwalk on coastal dune and land subject to coastal storm flooding. Could introduce yourself and
I'm Andrew Garrelay, registered landscape architect with Down Cape Engineering and representing Great Island Associates. This is after the fact filing on a replacement of a boardwalk and stairs to the Nantucket Sound from Great Island Road. This is, just to be clear, this is Great Island Associates. They they lease this particular part of the land that is owned by Great Island Realty Trust, but this is not Great Island Realty Trust work. This
I'm going
is,
to interrupt you just for a second. Last time we took them to task, and it was a mistake on, I'll take the blame, but a
Okay.
mistake on our part.
I just wanted to be clear on it, yeah.
Okay, does everybody understand that in the?
No.
Okay, so last meeting, we took Great Island to task, saying this is not the first time they've done an after-the-fact. It actually isn't that group. It's a different group on the island, which you're trying to explain, and I'm
Yeah.
interrupting you, but,
That's okay.
so I withdraw my comments.
Okay. So this was a replacement for kind of a dilapidated set of stairs and more like a landing, and stairs that go up from the road to a landing and then down to the beach. So this was a replacement, and I believe that they just thought they were doing maintenance, but they did not go through conservation, and they built it, and here we are. And one thing that I believe, I wasn't here for the first meeting, but I believe one of the things that was requested was some planting for a disturbed area, and we have beach plum going in next to the set of stairs here where there's a little bit of disturbance, and I think that's pretty well it. Fairly simple.
Okay. Anybody? Yep.
It could just be terminology. You know, on previously existing gatehouse and piling, are they there or not there now? Previously existing?
No,
do you know what I'm
Yeah,
asking? It's
yeah.
confusing.
That's funny because my boss pointed that out to me today, before I got here. Yeah, I actually did the drafting on this, and I was just pointing out it's not new work. It's there. It was there before any of this work was done, and I just wanted to try to be clear on that. And instead, I guess I made it less clear.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not there anymore.
It is there. Yeah.
But all these things, the
Everything is
existing
still there.
piling,
You can see
existing
in the picture
bike
there.
rack, Okay.
Yep.
So we just take out the
Yeah.
previously, and we're all set.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Any other questions?
I'm confused who owns the land.
Say
Who
again?
owns-
I'm confused who owns the land.
Okay,
It does say on the assessor's database that the Chase family owns it.
So, yeah, it's the owner of record is Great Island Realty Trust, and Arnold B. Chase Jr. is the trustee.
Okay.
They own the land, but the part of the Great Island neighborhood that is to the I guess it's the east on this one, they lease this particular section for access to the beach.
And that's the
From,
Great Island Associates.
That's Great Island Associates. So they lease.
They
the
have the
space.
right to put in the staircase, or?
Yeah, this is something they've leased for years and years. This was their set of stairs before. There's no issue with Great Island Trust. This is their access, and they are allowed to maintain it.
Does that make sense?
So you guys did vote to issue a $300 fine, which is still a valid response, but I think you were under the impression that the people who did the work were the homeowners association, who do work with us frequently and should have known. Obviously, still after the fact filing, still a violation. Fine could still be warranted, just so that you have that information. If you want to re-vote on that or keep your original vote, that is up to you.
So the fine would be to this new group, the group that actually put the stairs in.
Yeah, the Great Island Associates.
So my
Go ahead.
Okay. My understanding from what Dan Ojala told me was that that fine was given because they thought this was a second or third or maybe more offense, and this was something that was their first time offenders. So
So
we're
I think we
hoping
have to
that will
take two
be
votes.
rescinded.
One is to withdraw the original fine and then decide whether we want to have a new fine. So I'm going to make a motion to withdraw the original fine. Someone want a second? Second, Christian, any?
Discuss that for a second?
Sure.
Yeah. So if I'm understanding, so this is a different entity within the Great Island area. They built it without a permit. It's still a violation. They should have known. I don't know how you didn't know. But now they're saying because we are not the other entity and we haven't done this before, we should not be fined. Is that
No,
correct?
they are not saying that they shouldn't be fined. I'm just bringing the correct information to your attention so that you are aware.
What I'm saying is, we voted to fine, getting confused about the names, but the Chase people, because we thought this is like the third or fourth time
Yeah.
that this has happened. What I'm asking is whether we want to withdraw that fine because they didn't put the stairway in, and then we can decide whether they want to fine this entity.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right.
Is that okay?
Sure, I understand.
Okay, so
They
we,
own the land, so shouldn't they have given permission to put the staircase
that's what I
in?
asked, and
They have permission to maintain this access that they've been using for years and years.
we just went beyond maintaining and rebuilding are two separate things.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And I think there might have been misunderstanding with the homeowners association of the difference between that, so.
So the applicant for this project was Robert Griffin. Is he the contact for the Great Island
Yes.
Associates?
But the enforcement order was to the Great Island Homeowners Association. And
Is that
they
an enforcement order?
took a year to get this application in.
I don't think, I think we issued a violation notice. There are so many parcels in here.
Emergency certification,
That was a different,
or is that?
those were for other work. For this one, I think I just, they filed a building permit application and I told them to permit it or remove it, and they did follow. It was a bit of a time delay, but they did follow up with the permitting. But there was no official violation or enforcement order issued.
Okay.
So, before we vote, does everybody understand what's going on? Yeah?
Are we voting on the first?
We're voting on withdrawing the original $300
Yeah, sure.
fine.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I'm going to abstain because I wasn't at that meeting and I didn't,
Okay.
I mean, I saw the minutes, but I don't remember that conversation. I can't vote, yeah,
Okay.
or the reasoning.
So can I just see the vote again?
I got the vote, 5-1-1.
511? Okay. Okay, so that's done. Now we go back to this plan that's in front of us by the Great Island Association. And we had asked them to come back with a plan for more planting, which they have added, I'm looking for note 3. Do you have a note 3?
Right here. Right,
Yeah, it says C note 3.
right
Yeah, but what is,
here. And then the note is, where did I just saw it, oh, up here.
oh,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
that's where I put it, okay. So that's, so putting in beach plum, is that, I know you had asked about it, Bradford, do you have any issues, or is that okay? Is that enough?
It's a sufficient plant.
Okay. All right, so before we vote for whether we accept this new plan, do we want to issue a $300 fine to this group? Well, that's open for discussion.
You know, the fine is neither here nor there in some ways, but what needs to be done to let folks know, especially on such incredibly sensitive, beautiful area as Great Island, that if they do something, whether it be the Great Island Association or this particular association, that they need to get a permit from conservation? What do we need to do? These are probably fairly sophisticated people out there. Do you have a suggestion for that?
I wish I had the answer. I mean, we get this after the fact, you know, it's after the
know.
fact to us, too.
Well, you did the work, right? You did the planning for the structure.
No, we got the, all of this happened, we drew this all up afterward.
Oh, afterwards?
Yeah, we didn't design anything.
Okay. So if you did, you would have said to them, listen, you need a
Oh,
permit.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So somebody built it without saying that to the folks out there, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it was, if there's woodworkers in the association, or if they hired somebody. I don't particularly know who exactly were the people that built it,
Yeah.
but it was under their,
Sorry that I misunderstood there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, if they had gotten permission from the landowner to replace the structure, then the landowner could have told them that you need a permit to do that.
I don't think that they necessarily needed to ask to do this specific thing. It's like they have a right to take care of it, like, so they don't need to go talk to anybody, they just maintain it.
And I
And
would
the
like to see-
maintenance got a little bit, yeah.
It's been in place for some time.
Yeah, so they were thinking maintenance was, the replacement was the same thing as maintenance, apparently, so I don't know. I wish I had the answer for that.
Maintain my car and buy a new one.
What's the wish among you guys?
I think they should still, I think a fine is still appropriate, and then move forward from there.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think I need to see on the plan what portion of this property is
Least,
leased, so that we know in the future that
who the contact
otherwise
is.
they're going to replace it in 10 years and we're going to be back here doing the same thing and accusing one person and it's actually a different person, and it's just very confusing to me.
Is that something we could ask for,
Record?
a record?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I have the,
Brittany, is that something we could ask for the record?
You might have it. He's looking.
Would it be in here if they had it? What?
I don't have that. You can ask for it. I don't have it. I was confused what you're asking me.
He's looking now. He might have it.
I think it's a particular parcel on the assessor's map that they lease.
It's kind of analogous to like an easement, you know, a delineation, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
analogous.
it's lot 54 on the Land Court Plan 4075J, sheet 2.
Was that provided?
Could we get a copy of that for our records? That would probably be the best thing.
Fine for something.
Would that suffice for you, Bradford, if we got a copy of that?
Sure, I don't know what that says, but I guess so.
So I'm not sure what you're asking me to,
Well,
do I have a,
you seem to have a copy of where where their rights are. It would be nice to have you could send,
Yeah, can you email us a PDF?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
if you could do that, that would take care of that. Then we'd have it in our folder, so when something comes up in the future they do, we can say, well, that wasn't in their area, or that is in their area.
It's actually on the face of the plan here. It has the map and parcel and the land court, the certificate, which parcel they lease.
I'll see it on my plan. Do you?
Right at the very top, there's
don't think it
Assessors Map
defines it,
7,
but it's
Parcel
on there.
I
1.
think what we're looking for is,
Something that defines it more.
yeah, not just the map 7 parcel 1.
Okay.
It doesn't really say anything to me. I like to see it.
Just
Well, because-
hatch the
So
area.
just,
Just hatch the area and
we'll
call it
we'll
out.
send the assessors map and the copy of the.
Well, I mean, we have the assessor's map. Map 7, parcel 1 is owned by the Chase family.
Yes, and.
But
and-
like-
And this group leases that parcel.
Okay,
The
can you
entire
send us a
parcel. That's the
copy of the
parcel.
lease?
Okay, I'll see what we can do. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that
sure.
would be good to have a copy of the lease. That's what I was gonna ask. All right, so we voted for the fine, right?
No, we
No?
haven't voted for the fine yet.
Okay.
Fine.
Do I have a motion for the fine?
So moved.
Second?
Second,
Second, and-
Sec-
okay.
second.
All in favor of,
Excuse me.
go ahead, yes.
Are we going to continue with the fine?
We're going to, a new fine for the new group.
That's what we're doing right now?
Yeah.
Okay,
We
thank you.
voted to take the fine away from the other group.
Okay,
Okay, so all in favor of this fine, say aye.
aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, so we have that. Now, we have the plan which, Bradford, you feel okay with?
Pending,
Pending
Labeling
getting the
where the-
information to Brittany?
the lease agreement area.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Pending identification of where the lease area
Yeah.
is.
And a copy of the lease itself. So the motion is to approve the plan pending a
To issue an
copy-
order of conditions.
What?
To issue an order of conditions pending receipt
Okay.
of the revised plan showing the lease area.
I didn't ask if anybody in the audience has anything, okay, you see anybody up there anymore?
No, I don't see anyone up there.
Okay,
Look, just a quick question.
Yeah.
So we want a copy of the lease just so we know who has access or who has
Right.
rights regarding that
yes, we want to see
particular
a copy of the lease and
For the record. for the
Right.
File, okay, yeah.
that's in the motion. So did I hear, I'll make that motion. Anybody want to second it?
I'll second it.
Second it, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right, there you go. Jeez. Okay.
Pictures, yeah.
We all caught up? All right, the next one is 83-2536, Down Cape Engineering for Leonardo Calais and Liana, oh boy, Shea Mardavona, I'm sorry. 3 Baldwin Lane, proposed in-ground pool and patio for land subject to coastal storm floodage. This one, okay?
Once again, Andrew Garrelou with Down Cape Engineering. This is a fairly straightforward, I think. The property is in a flood zone. There's no, not any buffers to any wetlands. It's just a straight flood zone situation. Very flat lot, and the intent is to remove a small circular patio, which you can probably barely see on the plan here, and then to install an in-ground swimming pool with a 700 square foot patio that encircles it. Not going to be any big grade change or anything like that. straightforward.
Anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I assume the water, it's chlorinated water, right? The pool is,
I actually have the pool contractors here now, and you can.
oh, it's a saltwater pool, okay. Oh, okay. The only question I have is, not sure how to ask this. How will the leach pit function, or is it designed to function when the groundwater is high during flood events? I mean, or another way of asking that is, has the pit been sized for, maximum volume discharged?
Yeah, the typical drawdown pit is able to reduce the first couple feet of the swimming pool for winter coverage. It's not, as far as a flood event, what happens on a coastal storm, water comes in, more or less sits on top of the water, on top of the ground, and then it recedes. It's even if it were to fill up that pit, nobody's going to be drawing down the pool during the flood, so.
No, I know, I just
Yeah.
didn't know if it was gonna be back, it's not gonna be back, okay.
If you're
Can you
going to
please-
speak, can you come to the table and to the microphone?
It's not diatomaceous earth or sand filter. There'll be cartridge filters, so there's no backwashing at all.
Okay, thank you.
Was it designed for the high groundwater? Because this is a high groundwater area.
Yeah, it's just a shallow leach pit to take the first, and it's a small pool, so it's just to draw down the top surface of the water.
Okay, anybody else?
Will the patio be dry laid?
It is well, I guess you can answer that. Dry laid patio?
Yes, the patio are pavers, which will be pervious.
Okay. If we could indicate that on the plan, that would be great. And then, where's the fence going?
Yeah, the fence is.
That's an existing fence?
Existing fence.
Oh, okay. I just saw the note on the site plan, but I didn't see where it said fence.
Yeah, so the lines with the X's in it all the way around.
Just because it is a high groundwater area, my only request would be that you submit a dewatering plan prior to the pre-construction meeting. And hoping you know that there are just a couple of requirements for the high groundwater area when you go get your building permit. It needs to be able to be empty and not removed from the earth from the hydrostatic pressure.
Anybody else from up here? Brittany, you have anything else?
That's all, thank you.
Anybody in the audience? And I don't see anybody online. So could we have a motion with special conditions? And do we need a new plan with some specifics?
Indicating that it's,
Pervious?
Pervious.
Yeah, so we need just, and you're okay to approve this, what's this, the
just
plan?
pending, yeah.
Pending, okay. Motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No? Okay. Thank you. Oh, can you put that in there? Thank you. All right.
Thank you very much.
Send it back.
Send it back, sorry.
Oh, send it back.
I sent the wrong window.
Yeah.
Come to say, but
This compared Compass Drive, that's what we're doing next, right? So hopefully,
See.
yeah,
If not, we'll just get a new one.
yeah. So this goes with that then.
This went
Yep.
down Cape Engineering.
I just put it
Oh, okay.
right
you did
here.
that. Okay,
Yep.
great.
Yep.
Perfect. That's what I get for trying to be efficient. Okay, next one. SE 83-2534, Shorefront Consulting for Anthony and Jane Campagna, 14 Compass Drive. Proposed seawall reconstruction, elevation, and relocation with fill in land under the ocean. Land containing shellfish, riverfront area, land subject to coastal storm flooding, and the buffer zone to a salt marsh, excuse me, and after the fact for a patio and deck, and the buffer zone to a salt marsh and land subject to coastal storm flooding. You want, here, if you give it, I'll put it in here.
I know, I was just getting that, changing that.
Hi there. For the record, my name is Mark Burgess with Shorefront Consulting. You're going to spend the rest of the evening with me, it seems. So buckle up. Does anybody need to take a break before we go?
No.
No? Okay. All right. The first one here. I think this is an interesting one. So how many people have been to the site? Okay. And basically, it's a bulkhead replacement. You're going to hear those words quite a bit tonight. The bulkhead is being replaced, not in its original location. We have an opportunity to move 40 feet of the north side landward, which I'm sure you're probably happy about. That is to move landward, which will increase the width of the waterway, but it moves landward so that it meets the bulkhead to the east, the adjoining bulkhead. That bulkhead is also about a foot higher, so we'd like to put this bulkhead at the same height as theirs, and that way all the water acts the same across both properties. The really interesting part is the west side. That's about 90 feet, I think. So so the existing wall is about elevation 5.1. We're proposed to lift it to 5.9, so not, a modest increase in height. In that north section, there's about 14 rocks that are in front of the wall. Now that was from what Mr. Campagna, who is next to me here, says it was part of when the dock was put in, something that the Army Corps asked him to do as an experiment. We don't really remember what the experiment was, but whatever it was, other than putting rocks there, it failed. So we have the opportunity to remove those. In my opinion, it creates more shellfish habitat.
Those were on those were on the north side?
Say again?
The rocks are on which
Not
side?
that side, right, the last picture, the
Okay.
previous picture.
This side.
Between the float and the bulkhead. Yep, right in there. And if you're there at low tide, you could see them.
Where's
So
the
wait,
float?
Sorry?
Where's the float?
The float's on the north side.
On the north side.
Oh, it's cut off on the plans.
Okay, so that kind of sums up the work on the north side. The west side is a little more precarious. The bulkhead is already failing, and over the years, the river has, the soil has just dropped off the side of the bulkhead. Just a few feet out from the bulkhead, it's 12 feet deep. I'm sure that sheeting is not long enough. It might have been in the day, but it isn't anymore. The piles have shifted, the sheeting has shifted. There's sinkholes there. You'll see the fencing is to prevent the dog from sinking into the bulkhead as well as the bulkhead and the soil. Yeah, and those are all temporary measures to try to save that land and protect the dog. That's only about 12 feet from the house. You can see it's pretty close to the house corner. It's a little bit further from the pool, but still, I look at this and go, this is a mousetrap. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to be responsible for designing something to try to replace that wall in the same spot, because to remove it basically exposes you to the water, to the river. If there was a storm, you're done. You know, you're looking at the house and soil and everything going into the river. I don't want to take that chance. It's quite simple to just put another wall outside of it, and then anchor it, separately anchor it, independently anchor it, everything. Sometimes you put cementous fill. If you're familiar with that, it's a slurry. It's not really concrete. But it's not sand. Sometimes you fill them with cementous fill. Sometimes you just leave it. I didn't put that on the plan because different contractors do things different ways. But that has been a practice in the past, when you put a wall in front, that you fill that void so that it doesn't, so that the wall that's there as it continues to degrade doesn't shift. And I could add that to a plan. That's no problem. On the moving further to the south, there's some salt marsh there, and there's some riprap. All that's permitted and licensed. The bulkhead's licensed and permitted. All that's good. I believe there's plenty of room where the sheeting goes, the rocks go up to that bulkhead. I see no reason why somebody can't remove some of those rocks to make space for the sheeting and then put as many back as possible. I have no intention of removing those rocks. There should be no reason to touch any of the salt marsh. There's enough clearance to be able to put the wall in directly in front, but landward of the marsh. All of this would have to be done from a barge. I had a contractor come in and look at this, and he agrees with me about how precarious the wall is. He did say he could get on the north, up that side yard. He could get a piece of equipment in there, but that would only be for the north side of the wall. So the west side would have to be done from a barge. And even if this was done, I don't think it would ever be done in the summer, but if it was, the barge, because of the curvature of the river, you're still not in the channel or anything like that. So I think there's room to accomplish the goal and not make anybody else's life more difficult. That pretty much sums up the actual project. And as you're aware, there were some add-ons. There's an after-the-fact patio and decking. Joe was kind enough to forward me the diagram and the aerial that the commission had. Yeah, and I superimposed it over the plan. This is actually just a markup at this point, so it's easier for you guys to look at. So the patio.
Which one do you want me to show, the aerial or the?
Yeah, I like that.
This one?
Yep. Follow Kieran's lead here. So this is this was the unpermitted portion of that's existing patio. It's a solid patio, right? I mean, like pavers. So it is somewhat pervious. And then there was some decking here that was unpermitted. So those square footages are updated on the plan. I can tell you what they are. The patio is 150 square feet, and the deck is 90. So the purpose of this meeting is to sort of figure out what we want to do with those, and I would have to come back to you with a revised plan based on the action that we take tonight. If there's plantings that need to be involved, I need to hire my colleague again to do a planting plan. So the existing vegetated buffer, it's in the grayer, that's all Rosa rugosa. That was put in for the bulkhead, I believe.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Actually, Lynn Hamlin, yeah.
And it's doing quite well. There was additional, those additional shrubs that weren't initially shown in the plan, I put them in this draft. But, yep, they're there, you know. There's a garden area on the north side, and that measures about, after the bulkhead is reconstructed, the garden area is about 320 square feet. Mr. Campagna has offered that area for potential mitigation plantings as opposed to a garden, if you so desire. He is also fine with taking the pavers and using, leaving it with gravel with maybe 1 foot square pavers. And I'm going to let him take the mic here for a little bit. There's a purpose for that patio. It's how his wife gets into the building. She has some limited mobility issues. Other than that, the deck, we can do what we want. I'll offer this, he's fine with taking it out. If you see fit to leave it and there's enough room for plantings that pleases everybody, that's all good too. So really, we just want to gather information about how you want to resolve this, and then we'll go fix it. Division Marine Fisheries didn't have a time of year restriction. Don't know why, but they didn't. They had a question about the stone removal and the potential habitat that the stones were providing. I don't know what they're talking about. If barnacles maybe or not, but I think removing the stones is a benefit because it's going to allow the soil underneath to do whatever it wants to do. There's not a lot of shellfish on the site. There was a shellfish survey done, but the goal was you file a notice. I always tell everybody, whatever work you want to do, get it done under one filing. So we propose to remove the rocks. That's open for discussion. It's optional. So there's some wiggle room. Go ahead, Tony Campagna.
Just on the wedge of deck, I'd like to remove that and put lawn in so the dog has some lawn, because we're pulling the wall. We're pulling everything in a couple feet anyway, so there's a little bit of lawn for the dog to go in the backyard. And the pavers that are on there, I just want to get some, doesn't have to be as wide as it is now, but something that is maybe gravel, and just a couple stepping stones so my wife can get in. She likes to go in that way instead of going up the stairs in front.
Yeah.
So it's kind of.
We did submit a variance for work in the 35-foot buffer. And I'm guessing we'll need a planting plan. So with that, I'll endeavor to answer questions you might have.
Anybody, or should I start?
Yeah, Ellie.
Me? Okay. Hi. The rocks. So so obviously you read the report. It said, I'm looking at the DMF report. It made me more concerned about the rocks, the way they said that. They called it the existing stone armoring on the western portion of the bulkhead has interstitial spaces that helps deflect wave energy and provides, as you said, a habitat for invertebrates and shore zone fishes during high tide. Will you talk to me about what, I think in the narrative, what's involved in removing the rocks on the west side?
We just have an excavator with a thumb, grab them, pull them out.
You're not doing any replacement. It's kind of what they were asking for. Do you, in their report?
Yeah, I think it's like they understood it that it was a temporary removal for construction, and then you'd put them back.
Yeah, they think you're putting them back.
What's the reason for removal? Can we leave them there?
Just because they're not doing anybody any good.
Well, sounds like DMF wants to keep them, so I would recommend we don't get rid of them.
I don't think DMF knows why they want to keep them.
Habitat for
what?
Fishes during high tide and invertebrates as listed.
And it's not shorefront protection. It's not like riprap for waves or anything. That somehow the rocks got there. So we had proposed to remove them. Again,
Do they impact use of the dock in any way?
No, the floats are out beyond the rocks. So even at low tide, the rocks are about that much below the surface.
So for the homeowner, does it benefit you anyway in removing them?
They seem silly.
So no.
That's all.
Okay, so let's keep the rocks.
You're going to keep the rocks.
DMF.
Dave,
Yeah, they kind of made a good, okay. And then, on your narrative, on page 5, when you address the, at the bottom, the Yarmouth Wetlands Protection Regulations have the following performance standards to consider. On the bottom topography, it says, you say in red, thank you, I like the red, there is no net change to bottom topography. Could you elaborate on that? There's no net change in the bottom topography.
So topography to me is this.
Okay.
Right? How the ground, goes up and down. We're not changing that. When the bulkhead's brought landward, that grade would be carried landward in the same elevation that it's at. And then, obviously, when you go on the other side of the wall, you're just putting the sheeting in the ground that's there. So you're not changing that topography or grades either.
Okay. All right, that's all I had.
Jack?
How large are those stones?
Like this.
The rocks again.
With the stones.
The rocks again.
They're staying, so.
They're done.
And are there smaller rocks that, in the cracks and things?
They're just plunked sort of along the base of the bulkhead.
So you don't see any tiny fish going through those or anything?
I don't,
Baby fish or anything?
EMF says there are.
no sense to me.
The Army Corps of Engineers said, we'll put them in as an experiment and see if it'll keep the peat and things intact. It all washed away around them.
I see.
It did.
Well, I'm not too worried about what the Army Corps.
It was their deal. It was nothing to do with the town at all.
Anything
Okay.
else?
Okay.
A couple questions myself. The seaward stuff that you do, I think that's, if I think of 3 areas, there's the area you're moving it inward or towards the land. Then there's the area that is the area that needs the most work, right? And then there's, so the area that needs the most work, you're adding, you're going seaward, not landward. How far are you going?
Usually we allow a foot. So the sheeting, these are Z sections of sheeting, and the section is about 9 inches, give or take. It's on the section is shown on the plan to scale, but you try to put your if you use the original bulkhead as your false work, you can lay it as close to that, right up against it as possible. So we generally allow a foot. To say that by the time you're done, the new wall will be about a foot in front of the old wall.
You talked about planting plan, we're gonna need one. Sorry, looking at my notes and seeing what you've already answered. You're gonna move the veggie garden, so that's gonna become a buffer zone.
It can be, yeah.
And you would like, you have no problem removing the patio pavers, but you
No,
would.
the deck they want to remove.
I'm sorry, what?
Want to remove the deck and shrink the patio.
Right, but, I was just gonna say that, but what you would do is do it so there's a small path for her to go in and out, and you said you,
If there was gravel, and
Gravel.
if that's all right, that's what I would prefer to do.
okay, so gravel.
And I can go out there and measure what we need and let you know what the difference is and
Okay.
put that on a plan.
I think that's my comments. Anybody else?
Yeah, sorry.
I'm gonna go to Pat.
Go to Pat.
You're gonna need some fill, right, for this foot, so.
So the bulkhead is going up, but we're not raising the yard. The only reason for the fill is to fill in that depressed area that's been sloughing off, where the plywood is and the fencing where the dog could go into the river and, all that.
Did you say you're gonna use your special sand or something? No.
No, it would just be something that Cape Cod, Cape Cod sand, which is mostly sand.
He was talking about like the concrete slurry. I forget what you called it.
Oh,
In between the new bulkhead, new seawall, and the old seawall.
Yeah.
okay. That's
add
called,
that.
yeah, it's called cementuous fill. They pump it. So think of it as very, very, very thin concrete. So it's a slurry. So they pump it in, it fills in all the gaps, and then it does dry, but you could probably pick it with a hammer. It's not concrete. The purpose of that is to fill that void and secure one wall to the other so that if the wood rots, which it will, that wood's going to move and you're going to have that void and then you're going to see the land drop. So I should have put that on the plan and I'm sorry I didn't, but I will on the next one.
Okay, good.
So you build a wall outside of the existing wall by a foot, but you don't remove the old wall that the new wall is protecting?
Yeah, generally, they can cut it off at grade, but I wouldn't go get it. I would just sort of leave it well enough alone.
Okay.
So what I'd like to see on the plans when you redo them is those three areas, if you can differentiate the three areas, the landward area, the wall within the wall area, and the third area. I think that's,
What's the third area?
well, you're not going the wall within the wall all the way to the end, are you?
No, Brittany, if you can pull up the colored plan. So the red is the new wall.
Okay, I knew that,
The brown is the old wall.
right?
And up around the northeast, what would be the northwest corner, right there, is where you go through the existing wall and transition to outside. So
And
that,
all the way to the end?
all the way around, yeah.
Okay.
So it's about 40 feet on the north that you're coming landward, and then when you pop out on the northeast corner, it's 100 feet to the south,
And
in
you-
the same length as the bulkhead is now.
And you estimate it to go out 10 feet?
No, 1
1
foot,
foot, I meant,
1 foot.
yeah, okay. All right,
give or take, yeah.
Just a quick
got it.
Just a quick one. Thank you for doing, the sections of each wall, because they're different, but the north wall, you say in the narrative that you're eventually you're removing that wall once you anchor?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, there's two, the way,
yeah, because that's transitions, so where it transitions, then that last section, you're gonna be able to remove. Do we have a section of that? Do you have,
yeah, that's section AA.
is that AA?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't see the A in the A in plan. Okay, is that where you, I see section B. Where's section AA in the plan?
Lower right, lower left, right below the colored portion of the plan.
See it? I see section.
No, sorry, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Up by the pier?
I see section B.
So move over to so section AA is almost north-south.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's right at the
BB
pier.
is about 10 o'clock.
This just says A.
Yeah, and then BB is,
Oh, it's in the small plan.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank-
Flip those so there's more detail in the bigger plan and less detail in the inside.
Well, I zoom it in because it makes it easier to see some things.
Yeah, but it cut off
Yes, it does.
all that.
Yeah, without going to two sheets, or the other option I have is I can zoom it in and, well, not show as much, so,
Okay.
anyway. I do my own drafting. We strive to make plans clear, but there's a lot of information on these plans.
Anybody else? Brittany?
We've talked about a lot of small things, but I have a big problem with the loss of 60 square feet of land under the ocean. I don't think that's reasonable. I also don't see how you could possibly protect the salt marsh. It abuts the revetment as is. If you're moving the seawall outward, you would be removing salt marsh. What is your plan for that?
So the seawall goes behind the rocks in front of them. It's in front of the existing seawall, yes, but where it tucks in, where it meets the rocks, it's behind. So you would just
Salt marsh
remove,
starts over here.
you would remove the rocks and put the sheeting in there,
The plan shows the salt marsh directly abutting the existing revetment.
Are you sure that, I don't think the marsh grows right up against the bulkhead. I think there's a little patch where there's nothing there. I have a picture.
I didn't have a boat, so I couldn't go look
It was
at
hard
it.
for us to
so-
see because the growth of all the plants, we couldn't see over it.
At low tide, you can walk there. I thought I have a picture in there that shows it when I was able to walk out there. So I don't believe that the marsh goes right up against the existing bulkhead. There's almost like a little path.
I don't think we got
We see
any
some,
photos.
do we see some pavers there or something? Or am I confusing that with another visit? Right at the end of the wall between that and the marsh.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're asking.
You don't have the pictures as part of the...
I didn't think I got any photos.
Let me see, I have it here, so I can pass it around if I see the one that's in my head. I'm wondering, this is just a suggestion, but the only thing that you guys get is 7 copies of the narrative and the plan. I wonder if I should include the pictures, but
We
I
get
can
the
do
whole
it, or
NOI.
Brittany can do it, but let
Anything
me
that
see what I
helps us
have.
for clarity. Normally, we would, I suppose if we were in the winter, we would have seen the,
Either way, I agree with DMF. I don't fully understand the reason this alternative was chosen because we're losing 60 square feet of land on the ocean and it is a protected resource area, and I don't think we should be doing that. I would cede to the corner. I understand that part is actively falling apart and that part should probably be replaced seaward, but I don't see why you can't stop at the corner and put the rest of it in the same place so that we don't lose any resource areas, especially because the salt marsh portion is the most important and that's the most unclear.
that's why I asked about the 3. I thought there were 3 areas, and I thought the corner was one separate area.
So either the reason you had in your alternatives analysis is that you cannot excavate close to the house in order to put the seawall in the same place.
I think it's too dangerous to do that. I think it's too risky for many reasons, yeah. And the contractor
And why
agreed
can't,
with me.
yeah.
It's a tough situation, I agree, and normally I would never propose it, but this is, to me, in my opinion, this is the only safe way to do it. Now, I've got one picture in here. These aren't on there, or?
I don't see them anywhere.
Oh. I can pass this around. It goes as far as you can see, but there's a space. Mostly this picture, but there's these two.
So, it's here.
Corner where there is no.
Well, it goes as far.
If you could just provide a photo of this spot.
I can try to get a better photo, yeah.
Of
It goes about as far as you can see
Here.
from that picture, and then it's water because it's all gone away. There used to be marsh there, but it's all broken off. At low tide, you can still see the peat shelf.
Yeah, on this corner.
Yep. So in my
Have
opinion.
to ensure to avoid any impacts to the salt marsh because that's a known negative impact.
That's a no-no. I know
that's
that.
a resource area and
This, I believe, is peat. I don't think there's any marsh here. This is where you have some marsh, but that's also where you have rocks, and we're going to go behind. Well, the rocks are here, but there's also rocks in here. So you should be able to take out the rocks and put the sheeting in without touching the marsh.
and without excavating. Don't you need to excavate anyway to anchor?
The anchors are driven horizontally, so once they remove the rocks, the sheeting is just driven vertically. They don't have to dig to put the sheeting in; they just driven in the ground, and then they would drive the anchors in. So,
And they can't do that on the. Sorry, this one you're not proposing excavation on this side. Well, you have to because you're moving it landward.
I see.
Well, so generally, when they remove a bulkhead in the same position, they'll back excavate. And I would imagine that what they will do here is they will back excavate. I think I put that in the detail. They'll back excavate and dig it out, put the new sheeting, they'll snip the anchors because now there won't be any load on the wall. And then they'll snip the anchors, put the new wall in, and then take the old wall out. That's all right. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so we see the rocks go really far forward. So we can remove these to make room for the bulkhead. And if there's any marsh at all, it's just this little tip right here, and I don't believe there's anything right, I mean, the line goes there, but that's where it stops.
Yeah, maybe you can get like a drone photo or something.
Try to go out there and take
we
a
need
better-
more information for just
Get
that
you a better
spot.
picture.
Brittany, can you go back to the picture with the rock, the regular picture with the rocks? I'm a little confused.
No, you can't see the rocks. They're under the water.
No, I meant
Where they are?
where the marsh is.
I don't have a picture of the marsh. We couldn't see over the roses.
Okay, I thought, okay, yeah, that picture.
The rocks are like right about from here up.
And the revetment ends like here.
I thought the revetment, okay, I see now.
And apparently, what Mr. Camaglia said was this marsh used to go all the way around, probably all the way around to here. But it is 12 feet deep right there. So it's just all broken off over the years.
Here's your pictures back before you sit.
Thank you.
I just have a question, another question for the long term. In your professional opinion, what has caused this deterioration of this bulkhead? What has caused it? Is it
In my opinion, so the north side of the wall is in pretty good shape.
right?
The south side has been undermined from erosion of the river, ice, whatever. It's broken off. It's first destroyed the marsh. Now it's broken off the peat. If you were out there at low tide, you could look down and see the peat shelf where there probably was marsh at some time, but certainly isn't now. It's just peat. And after that, it's a cliff. I mean, like I said, 12 feet deep. So once the wall loses its footing, the sheeting, let's say that here's the ground and here's your sheet, right? You've got anchors up here that keep the wall from going forward on the top. But once you lose your support on the bottom, the sheeting kicks out.
Yeah, it
Then
kicks
you have
out.
a catastrophic failure.
Was the existing dwelling built that close to the water?
There was a lot more land that's now eroded.
Yeah.
I have pictures from 30 years ago, there was about 20 feet more out. When we put the wall in 30 years ago, I'm just looking at a picture here, there was land right to where that's what washed away. It's gone.
So since you're doing a lot of these,
I know.
you are.
I know.
What is the lifespan of these bulkheads?
So the timber ones that were made out of CCA and all that, they're 3 by 8 or 3 by 10 tongue and groove. They're thick, but functionally about 30 years. Some have gone longer than that, and some have gone shorter. Borers get at the bottom. That's primarily the reason the wood fails. The wood borers get in there, they deteriorate the bottom, then you get the sinkholes. You'll see that in a couple of weeks from now, you'll see that. But you get the sinkholes behind, and that's the beginning of that failure process. If the sheeting rots enough, then the bottom kicks out, and you got a bad thing. So about 30 years. These new walls, it's vinyl. I mean, I was told by the manufacturer that there's like a 50-year guarantee, but trust me, it's nothing we're going to ever have to worry about. So you do it right, and you're done.
Yeah. I don't know when to ask this question, so I'll ask it now because of all of these applications. What is the cumulative effect of these bulkhead installations? Is there a cumulative effect to the Is there, it is there.
So my opinion is cumulative effect is evaluated when you're talking about new structures. Yeah, these are all replacements, so you're
Oh, good
you're just
point.
trading one for another.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But
Okay.
yes, there is definitely a cumulative impact of these structures in the waterway.
Of what he's, what do you, say that again?
There would definitely be, yeah.
For new ones.
He's saying
But
just
we
the
don't
new
just
one.
discount the original impact. It's still there. We're not changing the impact. In this case, we are changing the impact because you're elevating it. But yeah, there's additional impact.
Even if it's an in-kind replacement, okay, yeah, I mean, I would think.
Just for your reference to the other question, plan was from 1976, and there was 32 feet from the house to the.
Well, that's the property line. We don't know
River.
where
Oh, is that the property line?
Yeah.
There's no other features on here.
no, that's the subdivision plan.
Well, on the north side, there was more space too.
Yeah. You could look
We
at,
have buffer zones.
I've used,
I'm going to move us ahead.
Okay.
yeah. Historicaerials.com has a pretty good 1970, 1971 black and white. You could try that. It's free.
Well, what I'm hearing is we're gonna have to continue this.
Mhm.
And you're clear with what you need to do, Mark?
All except for how much square footage, well, if we just use that garden for planting and take out the deck, are you cool with that? Is that all good? Or do you want a specific square footage?
enough
Probably the corner too, where you're filling. Where you're filling should have plantings as well.
Can they just do Cape Cod lawn there?
Why?
Because the dog still needs places to go? That's what was there. It just
Brittany,
has sunk away.
you think there'd be any of this planting plan that could use deep-rooted,
Yeah,
grasses and things that would
that's
prevent
and that's definitely.
gravel and so forth? They're all fine, but nice deep-rooted juncus or something like that would really hold it better.
I would agree. So my list from revisions were plan revisions to keep the stones, remove the unpermitted deck, shrink the patio, provide a planting plan, note about the cementuous fill, additional information on how you are avoiding impacts to the salt marsh. And I would like you to strongly consider any possibility of putting that wall back in the same footprint, or get another confirmation from your contractor if he confirmed it with you that it's the only way and the safest way, if he could put that in writing. We need something to go on in order to approve taking of the ocean.
When can we,
Did I miss anything?
And we're giving some ocean back,
But it's a
Yeah, but
net.
it's still,
It's
no, the
less.
60 is including what you're giving
I
back, yeah.
understand. but
Well, with the, I assume we're gonna have some revised landscaping. Will we have a revised mitigation plan? Because it's showing the math.
Yeah, plan.
My colleague will develop like we did in the last one, my colleague will develop a planting plan. So we're just talking about planting where the garden is. That's 320 square feet.
Well, that's all, I mean.
Hmm?
Why aren't we providing a buffer here where you're making additional impact filling? I mean, you should provide like at least a 2-foot buffer on this side.
Are you okay with that?
I mean, you can also you'll also need to provide the ratio for your patios, so that'll kind of give you the additional area that you'll need to fill in.
Ratio?
Yeah, you're proposing a structure in the no disturb buffer zone, so you need to provide at least 4-to-1 mitigation.
Okay, so that was my question, was is there a number that we're looking for, or can we just plant the garden area? So now you're saying that we need a number.
You don't know how big the garden area is, why would,
After the wall is moved landward, it'll be 320 square feet. It's probably like 10 feet wide now, it'll be 8 feet, and it's 40 feet wide, so it's 320 square feet. If that and a 2-foot buffer around where the sandy area is sufficient, then we can certainly go with that.
you can certainly draft that up and propose it for review.
Yeah.
The
Tough
commission
crowd.
needs something to review. You can't
know.
just spitfire stuff and
Well, I
ask
need-
for their
I-
opinion.
Yes, but the idea of this is to get a direction, you know. Tough crowd, tough crowd.
Like numbers.
What now?
Show us the numbers.
Show us the numbers.
Can we see a calendar up there?
There's no way I'll do this in a week, so.
Right.
Second or
July 2nd or 16th?
July 2nd.
That's close to
I know.
a 3-day weekend.
Quorums are difficult on that one.
anybody plan to not be here on July 2nd?
Possibly.
I don't know. I'll get back to you.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
What now?
Fair.
What'd you say?
I was just seeing if anyone was planning not to be here that day. You have 2 maybes.
2 maybes. Well, why don't we shoot for the 2nd? We can always bump it. This isn't something that's going to get done until winter or spring. All the contractors are booked, like, for the rest of the year. That's how much work they have. So not anything that we have to finish tomorrow.
Okay, so can I hear a motion to continue to July 2nd?
So moved.
Second?
Second, so Bradford moved it. Ellie seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now, just to let you know, Brittany, I sent the wrong one down, so they got signatures here, so.
I just crossed them out. Just like put a line through it. Another.
Just need another one.
Yeah.
Or you could leave it, and hopefully we'll,
No, just cross it out.
got it. Sorry about that.
Okay.
All right, next.
One thing quick. During the staking photos that I emailed in,
Yeah, I have those.
because those, there was one I took from up above,
Okay.
from the deck, and that might show what you were talking about, but I didn't see any pictures in your, it's a
I only got
staking
staking
plan.
photos for Blue Rock Road.
Right, I didn't give you those here?
Don't
Anyway, I
recall
went
that.
up on the deck to look down,
Okay, I'll look for them, but I don't. I'll look.
but
put a note.
I can go out there at low tide and see if I can get a better shot.
Okay, next one is SE 832538, Shorefront Consulting for Blue Rock Road Realty Trust, 166, 172 Blue Rock Road, proposed bulkhead and stairs reconstruction with new landing in coastal beach, coastal bank, land containing shellfish, riverfront area, and land subject to coastal storm flooding. And this is the one we went out by boat to look at.
Did.
Yeah, we had a
Good.
nice time, didn't we?
I wouldn't want you to walk down the stairs.
That is why.
Which one is this? This goes.
Okay. Again, Mark Burgess of Shorefront Consulting. I have Mr. Fidelli next to me. You've owned the property since when? Not that long, but,
2002, it's 2001, yeah.
okay. All right. Flip my notes too. All right, so the main purpose of this project is to replace an existing destroyed bulkhead. If you've been along the river, this bulkhead's been like this for as many years as I can remember. There's 2 bulkheads down there. We don't really know how they got there. I'm not sure. There's a Chapter 91 license, an old one, that shows a dock at this site, but there's no evidence that I could find of a dock being here. So it might have been much further back in time. Aerials don't show it because it's shaded. And it was way before you guys were there. So for obvious reasons, the bulkheads that are there aren't doing anything, and they're coming out. So the idea is to replace the existing bulkhead. All the debris at the base, which is plenty of variety, all the debris gets removed. There's cables, there's some steel bars, there's pipes, there's all kinds of just junk down there from probably a previous attempt or whatever. The new bulkhead is proposed at the same height. The bulkhead to the left That's Mr. Stover's property. And I'll explain a little bit later, but he also is a co-participant in this notice of intent. He signed the notice because this wall is going to join to his now. And that's about 10 feet from the property line. So this really is kind of a mirror image of the project next door. It's a rebuilding of a bulkhead. There is expansion to the north, agreeably, to protect the house. Same height as that bulkhead. We're going to push it landward as far as we can. And the reason for that is that we were in a little bit of a discussion on this bulkhead with Kelly, and it was about converting coastal beach to coastal bank. So if I put the bulkhead where it is, there's coastal beach behind that bulkhead, and I'm not supposed to really convert it to bank, if that makes any sense. So, but also for practical reasons, you just want to put it as far landward as you can. Now, I can put it right up next to the bottom of the scarp, but the wall has to be at the height that it's designed at. And the reason for that is because think of the grade coming down like this, and let's say here's where it's vertical, okay? If I put a short wall here, then what happens to this? It has no support. I would have to move the short wall out so I can maintain that slope to stabilize it. So I can have a taller wall and move it right next to where it is now, and then you just backfill behind it. That's exactly what we did on the project next door. So that's really the summation of that. We're going north. It's 142 feet total length. We propose to do exactly the same thing on the north end of this wall that we did on the north end of Mr. Stover's wall at 166 to the south. You stop short 10 feet or so from the property, and you put a fiber roll soft return. If you looked at the north wall of Mr. Stover's property, it appears that return has done its job. Where the bulkhead ends, there's still going to be erosion, but the fiber rolls are still there. There's not too much left of them, but they're still there. So they've done their job. The erosion hasn't started really to try to come up behind it. The idea is to provide a transition zone for wave energy so that by the time you get on the next property, then the natural erosion process or whatever is happening there happens. That's the reason for it. We would do the same thing on the north side for the north property line. So that you can see it there, about 17 feet is where that's proposed. That's kind of it for the bulkhead. We did do a shellfish survey. There's some there where there's beach. I wouldn't call it loaded. There are some. What else? Okay, so then the stairs aren't too bad till you get to the lower landing. At that point, you should stop. The existing lowest run of stairs is a huge timber of stair, and it goes down to the beach like it was supposed to, but it has detached. There's a come along and it's strapped to the deck. It's not safe. All that would get rebuilt in time, and all of it gets rebuilt. Now, when I do a set of access stairs, this came up from some other hearing, but there aren't any building codes for a coastal stairway. They might come into play if they were connected to the building. No actual building codes. You don't need a building permit, anything like that. Having said that, I try to follow the building codes because they're for safety. So you try to have a resting landing with no more than 12 feet of vertical rise. In your house, it's about 8, but I think they allow 12. But anyway, you don't want a straight shot. And these weren't built that way. They were built fine. But I also like to have the same rise and run. Your body knows. It can actually determine. The building code only allows a 1/4 inch of variance between your rise and runs because your body figures that out as it goes downstairs. So I try to keep them straight. So in doing so, the landings get moved around a little bit. Minor. The lower landing, what we're proposing to do, the one that's there now, goes away. And then, because there's a vertical bulkhead, I need to get over that bulkhead now, a different way than they did before. So I'm proposing a 8 by 10 landing that's on top of the bulkhead, some of it landward. There's only enough seaward so I can hang a set of stairs off that landing and get back down to the beach. So it functions the same as it does now. They have access to the beach. They want to maintain that access to the beach. And so that landing's really the only way to get over that wall and then back down to the beach. And the outer part of the landing is supported by pilings, and I staked that out as best I could to try to give you the visual. Before I forget, either I submit a request for administrative review or some other method that you might approve. They want to secure that staircase for this summer, that lower section. So that would be some work that we're looking to get approved immediately, as opposed to waiting for this whole project to begin, sometime in the winter or next year. We can figure that out. Like I said, if it's an admin review to re-secure that staircase, I'm fine with that. I'll do it right away, but I wanted to make sure I mention that. That's a temporary fix, and then when the whole project gets done, everything gets rebuilt. Let's see. Yeah, the stairs are 3 feet wide. Okay, exactly similar to the other project, when you put the new wall in, you need to fill behind it to secure that slope, and then that area would be planted. Most of the slope is quite stable. The whole thing is vegetated with woods woodland and duff and things like that. It's not a formally planted site, but the ground that's not exposed is quite stable. So I only want to fill to the top of the bulkhead. There's 2 scarped areas, so the one to the left, between the rickety stairs and the bulkhead to the south. That area would need to be filled and stabilized, and I presume we need a plan for that. But again, and let me explain. The reason I haven't come up with a plan at first is because I'm not qualified to do it, and mitigation in the resource area, you guys have to decide what to do. I'm not allowed to even guess. So that's why I'm looking to you, and then we'll decide.
Sorry, what
we
is that you just said? That's not true.
What? It says any landscape, any mitigation in the resource area is decided by the commission.
That's not true. I don't know where you saw that.
I thought that's what the table says.
It's decided by the commission? I'm not sure what you mean, but
Well, so some of the table says variance required, and the part that is in the 35 or in the resource area says,
at the discretion of the commission?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the discretion of the commission.
right? But that also means that
That you propose something and they review it and approve it at their discretion, or not.
Okay, well, I interpreted it differently. I didn't think I was allowed to even.
Oh, no.
We had to
Yes,
talk
please,
about it here.
please propose things.
Okay. So that area gets filled and stabilized, and again, I'll have my colleague provide that to you, and I'm guessing, it's about 200 yards of fill. That's about what went on next door. A little bit there, and then the rest of it, as you can see, looks quite, I think, just fine to fill, and probably just put beach grass behind there. And then there's another spot off to the right. Do you have one? Or
I don't know.
I gave you one, but
We had to turn around the boat. We got some unrelated photos. Yeah,
maybe
it's a
there.
little zoomed in, but
I have one of those, I think it's zoomed out. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, that area also would need to be bolstered up. Looks like about 10 feet up. It's marked on the plan where the top of the scarp is. So that area would get filled and planted as well. No trees are proposed to be removed. The bulkhead can be put in around, there's no trees down where I'm going to put the bulkhead. So all those trees stay. Don't have to prune or do anything to it except put the bulkhead, stabilize the grade, and then plant it around everything else.
I'd like to interrupt. It seems that there's still a lot of work for you to do, and since this is we still have
5 or 6 more items. Can we just cut to the chase and, because you're going to have to obviously come back. It seems that we need a
Planting plan.
planting plan, we need 1,300 square feet, needs a professional to do the plan,
Say again?
Yeah, that's the same comment.
I'm sorry, what?
Same comment. I also, just so the commission knows, I don't mean to, this is not meant in a way to attack you at all, Mark, but I did let Mark know that we needed a planting plan for this, and I was unsure the reason that he refused to provide one. So I know that that has been a sticking point, and Joe and I do our best to provide our comments to the applicants ahead of time, but not always do we receive enough information prior to the hearing. And so before the hearing begins, you are always welcome to not hear any testimony until you think that the application is complete.
I think I'm at the point where I'd like to just, if it's clear to what you have to do.
I think it would merit a little bit more discussion about the placement of the bulkhead, knowing that we need a planting plan and a couple of other things, because the placement of the bulkhead in relation to the bank.
Go ahead.
Yeah, me? Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
What bothers me is the purpose of this project to fix the bulkhead or to secure water access?
Well, it
I mean,
maintains
because-
the water access that they have now in a different way.
But you're pushing out the existing bulkhead, you're pushing out to accommodate the last landing of the stair?
No, all, the bulkhead, from the remains of that's out there right now, the new bulkhead will be landward of that, not seaward, landward.
So,
As close, I want to put the sheeting as close to the bottom of that scarp as I can and go up from there. Because the closer I put it, the less you have to fill.
so what is the driver of the height of the bulkhead?
It's a function of where the grade is directly behind it. So as I tried to explain,
Yeah,
if you shorten the wall but leave it close, then that slope won't be stable because it has nothing to go up against.
Well, you say in your narrative, and I'll be, the top of the bulkhead will be at elevation 6.5 feet,
That's the same as the one to the south.
okay? Which is below the flood elevation of 11 feet.
Correct.
So what do you do, what is added for protection, or is that, I'm just confused by that sentence.
Well, the idea there is that in the big one, the bank still can provide sediment if it wants to or needs to. So we're not totally shutting off the function of the bank as a sediment source for downdrift beaches. It's shorefront protection. The house is right above
Yeah.
a very steep slope. So it's sort of a middle ground way to provide the protection that we need, but still allow the bank to function as vertical storm damage protection and if it wants to, sediment to a downdrift beach.
Okay. Great.
Okay,
Yeah.
anybody else? So I think it's clear.
Yeah, I have some more.
I know, I'm just
Okay.
clear to, hopefully getting clear to what you need to do, but go ahead.
I think that there is a less impactful option that needs to be explored. As you noted in your alternatives analysis, the wall can be lower and you can put fiber rolls on top of it, just like was approved at 140 Blue Rock Road, a couple of doors down. That project, understanding it's a different property, similar environment, very close on the riverbank, was reviewed by a coastal processes specialist, and that's what ultimately they recommended. And I think that can be mirrored on this site with similar success, because the slope, I mean, if you put a lower wall, you'll have an additional slope behind the wall, but it would be more sustainable and less impactful. And the commission does have access to that same peer review process if you'd like to pursue that. It is a very similar location, and I believe the results would be very, very similar, but I'm not a coastal processes specialist, so you can always ask to have that reviewed. And I would just echo also that it's not an area where you're receiving windblown sand, so I don't think beach grass would be appropriate for above the bulkhead.
Okay? Well, I'm going to let Lynn tell me that.
Yes.
I mean, you know, let her figure that out.
Yeah, exactly.
I can look into that. What I'm afraid of is if I lower the wall, the fiber rolls aren't going to be vertical. They have to be back. And I'm afraid that I may have to move the wall a little further seaward to, I want the slope that's there to meet whatever
It can
is
be a little bit steeper at the bottom if we're fully vegetating it and stabilizing it. The similar to the approved plan, it was for 140 Blue Rock, it was moderately steep.
What do you do with the stair, though, with a lower bulkhead?
Here's
Am I
the
missing something?
Well,
detail.
I would have to carry the stairs down. It might change the way the stairs are designed slightly, but
Yeah.
generally I would carry the stair down and the landing would be a little bit lower, that's all. Or I could leave it the way it is and the wall would just be underneath it. That's okay too.
And for the commission's reference, this is the project a couple of doors down. He's not planted yet, but the fiber rolls are in the process of being installed. And that's a 2-foot wall with fiber rolls above.
Does look like a gentler slope, just looking at it.
It would be a steeper slope, but it would be stabilized with those rolls and plantings with much lower wall, so you get less wave reaction. Is there any possible? Sorry. Nope.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
how
what I
you-
would recommend exploring.
Yeah, very steep stairs.
Yeah, let me see if this helps. So this is your slope, and I'd love to carry that down about the same angle. So this is where the new wall, this is where the new wall is. So you carry that slope at the same angle. If I bring it lower, okay, it will steepen this. Let me see what I can do, okay?
Great.
I'd like at least 2 rows of fiber rolls. And then if I drop it by that, they're 20-inch, 1.5.
good.
Nah, I might drop 2 feet off the wall.
That sounds good.
Okay. Gives me a direction to head. Thank you.
Not getting quite as low as the other wall, but 4.5 instead of 6.5 would be more reasonable.
Anything else?
But you're still going to carry that wall clear down to the end.
Yeah, the slope is the same, and the house is really close to the north end, so I don't want to lose any of that bank. And that's the other thing about these projects, is you want to get them in time before the whole slope starts to slip, then it's much more work to fix it.
Are you going to look at lowering the wall? Would you think that you might need to raise it down towards the other end? I mean, is this going to carry clear through the whole length and still save keep the house safe?
The house is quite far away.
It's the stairs that are gonna be a challenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought I saw
You have
there.
a typo or something, or you say existing retaining wall remains, and then
1
to
foot
be
versus-
removed, and then you have in parentheses to be removed. There's
Where's
a-
that?
On your plan in the corner on C1. I don't know what you were trying to say.
Whereabouts?
Yeah, I think it's just it's like the remains of the wall. It's not like to remain.
Is it one of those again?
You could just call it debris or wall debris or something to be removed instead of remains
Where is it?
in the pink.
Oh, the remains is a noun.
Yeah,
Up top,
but agreed. That's
top left corner. kinda
Clarify
near-
that comment. I don't know. It's the
kinda near
top.
the Bass River.
Yeah,
elevation -4. You have a comment.
Left, yeah, to the left, top left. Right.
Existing retaining wall remains.
English is such a nice
Yeah, it's
language.
just in English. I just had 2 other comments.
I'll change it to debris. How's that?
Yes, that's excellent.
Did she have that?
If you could provide a detail for the fiber roll return. And DMF recommended annual monitoring, so if you could provide a monitoring plan.
Okay.
There is somebody with a hand up. You done, Brittany?
Yep.
Laura?
Laura, do you have something to say?
It's just Laura Riccio, wanted to make it known that I'm here, but Mark is handling things fine, but if I'm needed, I'm here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Mark, do you want to pick a date to,
I think there's more work for me to do here too, so a month is what? The middle of, what's the second one in July?
16.
what, the 16th?
July 16th?
Yeah.
Yeah, my phone says I have nothing.
Okay,
Good for that.
do I hear a motion?
I move that we continue this project to July 16th, 2026.
Second?
Second.
Christian.
Christian.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Would the commission like to pursue the peer review from the HUI specialist? That's a lot of time. He could probably take a,
Yeah, you're talking about, from the
Third party,
cooperative,
third party
Brian?
review.
You talking about
third
Brian?
party review, but in this case, it's free.
I know.
Because it's,
Who is it now?
it's Brian McCormick.
Haven't had the pleasure.
I think we should.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that would be
free,
helpful.
why not?
So usually if there's a peer review, the applicant would be responsible for paying, but I suggested it because I know it's like, he's a good resource and he does do these services for municipalities.
Cooperative Extension lives on, huh? I'm glad, because when Greg left, I was like mortified.
Oops.
Do we need to vote on that, or?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I can engage him.
You repeat that, though, for the peanut gallery over here and tell us.
Yeah, Brian McCormick is a coastal processes specialist with the Woods Hole Sea Grant and the Cape Cod Cooperative Extension. And I can seek a peer review from him for this project.
Okay.
And I would like to be notified of any on-site that you're
Results.
going to have with them, so we can all be there and I can describe and discuss.
Yeah, I might just send him photos, see if he can't, unless, just because access is difficult. But I would definitely reach out for permission for access for him.
Just tell him it's so cool, he should be there to take a look at it.
So cool. Okay, the revisions, okay, sorry, wait a minute.
Everything okay to move on?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. We're moving on to, I hope, SC 832537.
Yep, you're all set.
Shorefront Consulting for Steve and Kimberly.
Sorry, I have one last question. How fast did they want to repair the stairs?
For this summer, so immediately. Do you want me to
Next
file
week?
an admin?
Yeah, just do an admin review.
Okay.
Because if he was willing to wait, it could be included, but if he wants to stabilize the stairs, just do an admin review.
Ideally, for the week of July 4th would be wonderful. That's when all of us are down there.
Okay, great, yeah, if you could submit it like in the next 2 weeks.
I have a guy in mind, if he can do it. I should get Richie up. No.
Start this again.
On a
SC 83-2537, Shorefront Consulting for Stephen and Kimberly Duval, 37 Memorial Drive, proposed seasonal dock in the buffer zones to BVW and Long Pond. It's this one.
All right, short and sweet. This is a typical seasonal dock on Long Pond. I've done 3 or 4 of them. It meets all your bylaws that I'm aware of, 30 feet long, 4 feet wide, 120 square feet. It's to replace an existing unpermitted wooden dock that's going to come out and be disposed of. And this is your standard, what I call standard aluminum dock with feet that rest on the pond bottom, and it will be removed every season, unlike the one that's there. And I'm just going to be quiet. It meets all your bylaws. It should be, everything should be fine, unless I made a mistake.
For freshwater docks, there's a 2-foot elevation above BVW on the landward side of it. I don't think we meet that.
Well, because it's an existing path, the BVW is actually on both sides of the dock, but not underneath it or behind it.
Okay.
So do you have the clearance or not? It's very unclear to me where the seasonal high water line is.
So the ordinary high water line is elevation 6. That's the same water level we've used over all these years because Long Pond is controlled. And observed water level has been higher, and then the historic is 7.2. So I set the dock height according to the regs. It's 2 feet above the ordinary high water level. And that's what we've done in the past.
Our regs reference the seasonal high water level, which I would imagine is not the same as the ordinary high water level.
I don't, I don't know. I've tried to get other data, but again, this is exactly the same heights that I've used for the last probably 3 or 4 docks in the last 5 or 6 years that I've done on this pond. So I just go 2 feet above. I mean, ordinary, that's a Chapter 91 term, but ordinary to me is ordinary, normal. You know, the water level can fluctuate, obviously, but that's the lowest level of the 3 that we have. So to me, that's the most conservative. If I'm 2 feet above that, you know, we should be fine.
I don't know.
But it's
Okay.
consistent with what I've done in all the others, that's all I can
Okay.
say.
It doesn't seem like it's the same as the seasonal high water, but if you can't get that data from anywhere, that was my only question.
I know, that's,
And there is just a minor scale error. If we could, if you're comfortable with me throwing a 1 in front of that, and you can initial it.
and, just change it, initial it on the.
Yeah, is that fine?
Where is that?
It says
Technically-
0, 10,
Section-
5, 20
Yeah.
on the left-hand side.
Oh,
Should be-
okay.
Ellie, I thought you would have caught that.
Actually, I caught it.
Technically, I'm not allowed to draw on a stamped plan.
Okay.
I can
We
either,
just,
I know,
it's not a big deal.
I did it on both sides, look at that.
That is funny.
I would recommend approval with special conditions, including removing annually and removal of the current existing timber dock immediately upon recording of the order.
Oh, okay.
Brittany, do you have a picture of this from the site?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's many. There's a previous,
We went down the stairs.
there's actually better pictures than one I took in the,
Oh, yeah.
oh, they redid those.
Whoa.
Wait. No, that's not the right site.
Yes, it's the site.
Is it? Oh, okay, well, that must have been part of the other work.
It was. They were approved for a 4-foot wide replacement of the old dilapidated stairway.
Yeah.
And they are required to plant these bare areas. They just haven't done it yet.
That's a separate
But they have
file.
time to do that under a separate filing. But there's the dock.
Yep. There's some,
Is that the
well, I
plans
have
for-
some pictures of it, and then for the, yeah, that's one. There you go. It's just sitting there. Surprised the ice hasn't taken it.
Quick one.
Go ahead, see if you make it quick.
Yeah, no, is there, the length of the dock, you don't indicate that unless I'm missing it. You say it
30
extends.
30 feet.
It should be.
Where does it say that? Like I'm looking at the section,
Right up.
yeah, I'm looking at, yeah, it just says, but I think I'd like,
Right
all
here.
right. So 3 foot to 30.
On the plans, too.
On a plan, too.
Okay. Okay. What is the comment when you say dock? Am I looking at the right thing here? Dock extends 17.5 feet beyond OHW. That's,
Yeah, that's for chapter 91. So in a saltwater dock, we say how many feet it extends beyond mean high water. This is the freshwater version of that, but it's for chapter 91. So I put it here so I don't have to draft it again.
okay. Okay, I was confused by that note with the length. Okay.
Well, I think the bylaws allow us to go a little bit further, but we don't have to, so we didn't. Or we'd exceed,
Max- I
we
think
would have
you're max-
exceeded the square
Yeah,
footage.
you're maxed out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even in here, too. She's good.
These can be really tricky to place. the right spot.
Brittany, we don't need an extension for this, correct?
The air conditioner. Real good.
Just checking. What is your question?
Can vote on this, or,
That's up to the commission.
but I mean, you have everything you need?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else in the commission have any questions about this? Okay, can I hear a motion to approve with special conditions?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, thank you, Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody opposed? Having heard none, we will move on.
1 out of 4
I
is
sign this. What is this one? This one. Okay. All right, 2 more. SC 83-2533 Shorefront Consulting for Thomas Dandis, 7 Cape Isle Drive. Excuse me, proposed seawall reconstruction at the same elevation and float configuration in land under the ocean and land containing shellfish, and after the fact filing for a patio and walkway in the buffer zone and land subject to coastal storm flowage. And I think I got that there and that there. Okay, Mark, we're ready.
Thank you. Mark Burgess again, Shorefront Consulting. I was at the site today with Mr. Dandis, and we looked at areas where we can plant more things. So I'm prepared to discuss that, obviously. All right. Bulkhead replacement, you've heard that before. Broken record, same height, same footprint, no seaward expansion, all the same, it goes back, right the way it is. When I went out to the site, I told him his floats were not in compliance, so part of this permit is to bring the floats back into compliance, and I'll have to relicense them. The landing that's out there is in a different position than the original license. No big deal, it would go back, everything goes back to the way it is, except the floats will be in compliance, and I'll have to relicense the landing. Same height, elevation 5.3. And now there's an existing 4-foot buffer out there, 4-foot vegetated buffer. It's kind of a monoculture at this point of mostly Rosa rugosa or Virginia rose, I don't know which one, but one of those two. It's mostly a monoculture. There's a few other things in there, but mostly a monoculture. The only comments from Division of Marine Fisheries mentions the float clearance. So I didn't respond to them. It's a standard comment for them. My response for your edification is that the Small Dock and Pier guidelines suggest that any dock or any float that's in an area not significant to shellfish, they want 18 inches of clearance, and in an area that's deemed significant to shellfish, then they would want 30 inches, which is 2.5 feet. This is we're not doing any dredging, so the existing conditions remain as it is. My interpretation is these sites, especially the ones that are further up in the lagoon, are not shellfish areas. It's all poop, scientific term. So I think they have a little over 2 feet right now, and I think that, my opinion is that's sufficient. Let's see. Okay. That was the gist of everything until we found out about the patio and the walkway. So I'm prepared to discuss how we want to handle the patio and the walkway. Patio is 202 square feet. The walkway is 110, 312 square feet total. What I discussed with the client was different areas on the property that we could increase the buffer that's there. Now, I'm not trying to be cagey here at all, okay? I do want to say that, is there some benefit that a patio takes up turf lawn. Generally, well, I know I might get a giggle out of that, but think about it. One of the benefits of structures like this, or a deck or anything, is that they take up turf lawn, which is better to get rid of. Okay. So I don't know if there's any benefit there. I just wanted to throw that out. So we could increase the buffer. What I would propose to the commission, that buffer is going away anyway, because all this gets obliterated when you do the wall. The walkway, we might be able to save the walkway. They don't need that much room because it's a short wall, but certainly the buffer goes away because you've got to excavate behind there. So we have an opportunity to put something back. What I'd like to do is find a square footage that works for everybody. I would like to turn that buffer into a diversified buffer and increase its value. And I would hope that we get some credit there. The bulkhead is about 85 feet long. The existing buffer is 4 feet. That buffer was put there because of the decks, so it's serving its purpose. It has a value for a different previous permitting. I guess with that, we can, I'll answer questions and.
Questions, comments, Paul? Yeah, I have a question. The wall looks pretty solid. Why is it being replaced?
When I went out there during the winter when the plants weren't as good, there are some sinkholes there. And I told him today, I said, look, if this wall isn't moving, you don't have to do anything. The permit's good for 3 years. Something might happen between now and then. So a lot of people want to be proactive. They came to me. His neighbor just had his done, and it came out really nice. That was Leventakis. Anyway, they're all friends. So he says, well, I think I want to redo mine. So I looked at it, and yes, it's not in bad shape. It's not wonky. There's a little bit of sediment starting to move behind the wall, so it's starting to degrade to the point where you want to think about it. So I said, well, at least it's up to you. You can do it now. He wanted to do it this winter, and I said, I don't think you need to jump. Get the permit, wait 3 years. If you need to extend it and you want to kick the can another year or two, you're still good. But then at least if something happens, you have your permit in place to do it. So that's the strategy.
How are you going to handle mitigation? I mean, you have really limited real estate.
It's a constrained lot, I agree. Yeah. Harwich has you don't have this in your bylaws. Harwich has a provision to pay into a mitigation fund. Think of it as a shellfish.
Be in lieu of, yeah.
It's a mitigation constrained site. They pay X amount, I think it's $7 a square foot. And that goes into another fund to do other mitigation in other areas where it might be more valuable here. What I would suggest is enhance the vegetative buffer that's there now. There's benefit to that. And I would bring it out 2 more feet. And you have 6-foot buffer across 85 feet, well, except for the walkway, of the lawn, the lawn area. And towards, on the site plan, if you look to the right, to the east, he's got a little more area there. This area.
I'm just going to interject if that's okay. The buffer exists as 4 foot, but actually was required under the RDA to be 8 foot. So that is in violation and is expected to be expanded to 8 feet. Yeah, and that wouldn't count toward mitigation for your new structures that are unpermitted. And our bylaw, we don't have any sort of fund in place like that. So our bylaw says if there's existing structures in the 50-foot buffer and it's mitigation constrained, additional structures may not be permitted by the discretion of the commission. So I think this lot's mitigation constrained and something has to be removed. But yeah, I see where you say this side's bigger.
It is bigger. He's got this is actual, this is a vegetable, food. He's growing food here. But yeah, I have a little more room here. We talked about that today as well. I looked through all the permitting for this. I did not see 8 foot.
I'll send it to you.
Please? I guess I
I saw
can't.
it. It's in the description of the RDA.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry I missed that.
Also, just to your point on preferring a patio over a grass lawn, that looks like a non-pervious patio, which would be a bigger detriment than a lawn. Yeah, just as a lawn. So I'm inclined to not approve that patio, just putting that out there. Unless it can be mitigated for, but it seems like that might not be possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's not enough space. I did some math.
Another case of an unpermitted structure, or
I know.
Just a comment. So if you get this permitted, and they have 3 years to do it. So they have 3 years to get, if we decide,
We can also follow up with an enforcement order if we want to keep the bulkhead and the other items separate. Because this was in response, oh man, my computer died. This was in response to a COC request in which the unpermitted structures were come to light, and we said you can attempt to permit them or remove them in addressing the COC. But we can also address that with an enforcement order if we want to separate the bulkhead, because I don't have any issues with the bulkhead, and I agree with your depth requirement from DMF. I think it's fine, the depth that you have for the floats.
Thank you.
well, my only point would be that he's buying time.
If for the unpermitted structures, you're saying? Yeah, so we can separate them if you also just require them to be removed, and then they're not involved in this permit at all.
Oh, you have anything?
I think that sounds like a good idea.
What's
Do it separately.
Well,
Separate them.
Yeah, so that I can understand, so you have if this is approved for the new bulkhead, again, it's 3 years in order to do the work? Is that correct?
at least, yeah.
And this is just like a preventative type of a thing? He has the permit in case he wants to do it, he doesn't have to act upon it?
He's being proactive, right? And the buffer gets destroyed, so there's no point in doing it 8 feet now, only to have it destroyed and then put back again,
Uh-huh.
right?
So that's
So he could hang on to it for 3 years, keep his 4-foot buffer, he didn't have to do that work, right?
His patio is still unpermitted.
Patio still it sounds like a little bit of shenanigans going on there, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I wouldn't call it shenanigans, but.
Oh, okay.
No,
Well, that was-
we run into this more often
That was
than
the
than
Joe
I wish.
Biden in me coming out, you know?
What now?
Never mind.
I got it.
I don't know how these things happen. You would think people know, especially if they have a permitted lot already and they went through other permitting for the decks. You would think they'd know not to put a patio there.
Yeah, you think.
You think. And I get caught in this position. I don't pretend to know why or how it got there.
Well,
I don't like to see anything removed. I'd like to see if there's a way to work it out.
Unfortunately, I think that's the strategy sometimes to get around the regulations, isn't it?
Well,
And the thing is, unpermitted structures were installed in 2021, okay?
around 20 and 21
Yeah.
from Google Earth anyway.
After owners permitted decks in 2015 under an RDA. So they knew about the process, right, didn't they?
I'm as
Oh, then
surprised.
all of a sudden, what, they forgot?
Yeah, I'm not going
They
to
have
sit.
to come out.
Right, I'm not going to sit here and defend. I'm as
don't
surprised as
expect
you
you
are, and
to.
I'm as frustrated as you.
I hope somebody's listening.
Well, he might be.
I'm hoping somebody's listening, because this is so common. And it's very frustrating for a group of citizens to volunteer to do this work and then have to say, oh, okay, you can leave the unpermitted structures. No, I don't think so.
No, I understand. That's why I come to you saying, okay, can we now? If it was a 4-foot buffer and we can add to it, that's great. I had no idea it was supposed to be 8 feet, so that kind of stinks for him. I don't know what to do. I would rather let's see, if I have to come back with a revised plan to show you an 8-foot buffer, and do you want a planting plan to enhance that?
Supposed to have an 8-foot buffer to begin with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So you're gonna need a revised plan showing that. I'm sorry, I missed it. I don't know how. So if you need a revised plan, I would just like the opportunity to go back to him and say, okay, here's where they're headed with this patio, what do you wanna do? Meaning, before you drop the hammer, I just wanna tell him that you're headed toward removing it with an enforcement order or not approving it as part of this order. One of the conditions is the patio's got to leave. I just want to have that discussion with him before you make that decision. And if I have to revise the plan, we have 2 weeks before we have to formally make that decision.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay?
I would recommend the commission require removal of the patios since they've been there since 2001.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should remove the patio and the
Yeah.
concrete walkway, which is close to the,
When we do, is there concern about that process too? I mean, that patio looks pretty unforgiving. Are we concerned about what's involved in the removal of it and what impact that might have?
No, it would be an additional requirement, a condition to restore it to
Restore
pre-existing
it to what?
conditions.
It would be in the conditions to restore it, okay.
Now, would that be part of the order?
That
or
can
is
be
it-
a violation notice and escalated to an enforcement order if action's not done by a time frame that the commission decides.
I think that's fair. Because it would be nice to just have it as part of the order. And then 3 years goes by, either the order expires or he comes to you, it won't be me, he comes to you with an extension and you say, take out the patio, we'll give you your extension.
Well, we don't only give them 3 years to remove
No,
the
that's
patio.
not what I was suggesting
that's
at
not
all.
what we're saying. We're saying take out the patio now.
Now,
Yeah, like by July.
And the walkway or just the patio?
And the walkway.
And the
They're
walkway,
both
right.
unpermitted.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's time that people learn that you live near a river, you live near the ocean, you gotta come to us first. And,
We don't believe in the ask forgiveness. What is that?
I mean, I'm paid to argue, but I just don't have an argument at this point. Only negotiation or as to how smoothest to accomplish the goal.
and that he can decide whether he wants to come back and get a permit for the bulkhead, or he wants to wait.
No, this is the bulkhead permit. We're going to remove the other parts from it so that they can get their Chapter 91.
So we're going to
I would recommend the commission,
separate the two.
continue this for a revised plan showing removal of both unpermitted structures with a planting plan. And authorize me to send a violation notice to remove both unpermitted structures by July 1st,
Okay, and then
July 10th.
I have one question. Do you know if the 8-foot buffer did it have any planting
Didn't have a
requirements?
plan. If it did, it didn't have a planting plan associated with it. It just said 8-foot vegetated buffer
So how do we want to handle that then,
with a planting plan.
with a planting plan? Lynn?
For an 8-foot buffer, right?
8-foot.
8-foot.
And I'm sorry, but Brittany, where, was it in the documentation concerning the original plan to have an 8-foot buffer?
It was in the documentation for the determination of applicability that was issued in 2015
For the deck, right?
for the
But then they
decks.
put in a 4-foot buffer and
Yeah, they put in just a buffer that was a bit too small and then added the others.
you didn't see any of that stuff to let you know that it's supposed to be an 8-foot buffer, right?
I missed that.
okay.
I'm trusted it's there, but I missed it.
Okay, thanks.
I hadn't counseled or advised him on that. I didn't realize. My apologies for that. Okay, it's a simple plan revision, but then I have to get Lynn
So,
as well.
one other question, if I may. So if, let's say, for example, this individual wants to withdraw his application, he could do that?
Absolutely.
The enforcement order would,
And,
Yeah.
however, he would still be it would be a violation, then that would have to be issued, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
I just want to make sure I understand.
So what,
So it was at the certificate of compliance hearing that the commission decided, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the determination of applicability was also an after-the-fact determination of applicability, so they had already built that deck and then sought approval and provided the 8-foot buffer, which they then did not plant
Right.
out. I also
get
have
all
it
that.
right in front of me. They said they would plant creeping juniper, sea lavender, and bayberry.
What now?
Creeping juniper, sea lavender, and bayberry were the 3 plants. And
Yeah, you can't really get sea lavender anymore.
yeah,
So I think a planting plan would still be better because we need 3 species.
need a new
Yeah,
planting
yeah,
plan?
You said,
definitely.
but you suggested creeping juniper, bayberry, and what?
Oh,
No,
that's
that's-
what was in the determination of applicability from 2015.
Oh,
Yeah. No,
So bayberry is the only plant that stands from
into
that
creeping.
list.
We're not into creeping.
Yeah, yeah.
you're not into it.
We're not into it.
It approved it.
Ed, going back on his only thing.
Okay. Yeah, so similar to the first COC hearing you guys had tonight, if you issue the enforcement order, then that stands by itself. And I think it got confusing trying to combine a COC, which had nothing to do with the site. In my world, I would have issued the COC, no problem, and then issued a separate enforcement order saying, hey, clean up the site.
Yeah.
And then they're independent, and but to me, it would have been a lot cleaner, but it got confusing.
Yeah, we can't issue the COC if the site's not in compliance. So
And then I wondered, how can you authorize work? Would he need a notice of intent to it gets convoluted?
okay, so this was messy, but
Yeah.
I would recommend continuing for a revised plan showing removal of those things and a planting plan and authorization for me to issue a violation notice for removal of the patio and concrete walkway by July 10th.
So moved.
So moved, Bradford.
What date?
July 10th.
I'll second.
10th?
That's what I said.
So just for kicks, why do they still have an open permit for the dwelling and the septic?
That was closed out. That was the COC that you did issue
It hasn't
last
been,
time.
it's been conditionally closed out until this violation's resolved.
Took so long.
Oh, I didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
They're a really weird applicant, I'm sorry.
Okay, do I hear,
That's what it
you got
was.
everything?
I've got July 16th on the last hearing. Is it the 16th?
No, this isn't a hearing, it's to remove.
Yeah, do you want the 16th for the next hearing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's to remove the unpermitted structures by July 10th. Okay, do I, everybody in favor? Who's in favor, or
Removal, we're talking about removal now?
it's included in the,
Continuing and
Did you say by
authorizing
July
issue.
10th?
By July.
removing everything by July 10th.
Oh, that's quick. Okay.
Could be difficult.
You can give us a status update at the 7/16 hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. It's that one.
All right.
And the last one? Is there a last one?
This is the second to last one.
That was 7 Cape Isle.
This one's next door at 11.
83, sorry, SE 83, 2182, Shorefront Consulting to Ronald and Linda Ludfiskin, 11 Cape Isle Drive.
I recommend issuance of the COC with ongoing conditions number 14, 16, 18, and 19.
Okay, I see it here. Anybody have any questions about that?
Wait a minute, are we on
We're on,
11 Cape Isle Drive? Yeah, okay, yeah, very nice, yeah, I agree.
you want to make the
Yeah.
motion? Okay, second from somebody?
I will.
Frank, why do I keep saying that? Jack?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So that one we got. That was an easy one.
Yeah. I even wrote very nice, I don't know why.
Sign this.
Thank you, everyone. I know it's been a long night.
Yeah,
I've got 2 more to go with you. They're both bulkheads.
The next one
what do you do
is-
on the other side of the Bass River? Do you torment Dennis?
I'm about to. I probably have a dozen I'm in the design process of those. I've got about a dozen to hit Eric with, and I told him
You
they're-
did.
Okay, we
I
have,
have to batch them. I can't be at both places, so.
all right. We have an enforcement order for Audrey Egan, 15 Sagamore Road, unpermitted construction of a patio and vegetation removal within the land subject to coastal storm flood edge and the 35 buffer to a vegetated wetland. Failure to comply with the building permit and violation notice by removing or seeking permitting for the patio. It's a lot of words. You want to explain
It
that?
is, yeah. So this is a bit of a convoluted violation for past work that hasn't been done for a small wetland at 15 Sagamore. The building permit was issued in 2021 requiring planting for removed vegetation at the time. It was never completed. Later, an unpermitted patio with fire pit was installed very close to the wetland. I worked with the homeowner who was cooperative at the time and told her she had to plant a 10-foot buffer to comply with the original 2021 requirements and seek permitting or remove the fire pit. We were planning to have that completed with a planting plan submitted in March. She missed that deadline. She didn't get the plantings done, so I told her we had to pursue additional enforcement since she hadn't complied with the conditions of the violation notice. So here we are to ratify this enforcement order requiring those things, which are to plant the originally required plantings under the 2021 building permit. So this is essentially a 10-foot buffer around the wetland. And the fire pit is within pretty much 15 feet of the wetland. And so the other part of the enforcement order would be to remove the patio or seek permitting for it.
And do we have a deadline for her to do this by?
I would recommend to plant the buffer by October 1st with a plan submitted by August 6th with the same August 6th for the RDA or removal of the patio.
Does the landscape architect know that, I mean, her scope will be different if we,
It is an either or. So right now,
yeah, either
we
or.
have an engineer has contacted us saying that the homeowner has contacted her to help her out with this. We let him know she probably needs a landscape architect or a wetland scientist. So at least she has an engineer or surveyor trying to help her with this process. But I knew she didn't think that she was going to attend tonight.
You don't have any pictures of this, do you?
My computer has died.
I noticed.
Sorry to hear that.
It is a pretty
What happens
small
during long
wetland.
meetings?
Yeah, I should have brought my charger. That's my bad. It's a pretty small wetland, and it has Phragmites in it. So the original part of the original
Trying to
problem,
remember it, to tell you
she
the
was doing invasive species removal without a permit, so she just removed a whole bunch of plantings there. But yeah, I think it's just to ratify the enforcement order that's in there, and I can add additional special conditions for the planting plan.
A motion to ratify the enforcement order?
What does it say, though? Does it, does the enforcement
Yeah,
order?
that's what I just said. So the enforcement order is to plant the 10-foot buffer with submitting a planting plan from a professional by August 6th and remove or seek permitting for the fire pit and patio by that same date.
Okay.
Do I hear a
Did we
motion?
approve that fire pit, though? I mean,
No, it's unpermitted.
no, okay, but if she applies for it,
It's not something that you've,
I mean, isn't it a waste of?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
the only other small interesting portion of this is that the wetland is very small. It's on the cusp of jurisdictional, which is why the original component was just to replant everything that was required under the building permit. I do believe it's jurisdictional, but without having a survey, there's not 100%. That's why I think if she sought permitting with it, we would be able to find out 100% if the wetland is jurisdictional, and then you could approve it. Because that's what the request is for requesting the commission to see if the work is jurisdictional or not. In this case, it's a little bit of a gray.
What's the footage on the I forget.
I'm sorry?
What's the footage on jurisdictional?
500.
All right, I'll repeat. Does someone want to do a motion here?
So moved.
Second from somebody?
Second.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. No one opposed, I guess? All right, next, commissioner terms ending, 6/30/26. I am ending.
Yeah, we've got David. Let's just vote on these one by one. David, do you want to be reappointed?
I hear a motion to reappoint me.
I motion to reappoint David as chair or just on the commission or?
Just on the commission,
Yeah, on the
right?
commission, and as, I think he would,
Yeah, that.
and as chair.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I don't think I should vote on that, right?
No, you shouldn't.
Because I was going to vote nay.
Yeah, I was gonna, yeah, tonight.
Okay, and the second one is Jack Frost.
I'll move that we reappoint Jack Frost to the Conservation Commission.
Okay, second. Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So that's, again, is 6 to
6-0.
extension. And unfortunately, Patricia has decided to retire.
Oh, no.
So Pat's term ends at the end of June. She's spent 8+ years on the Conservation Commission.
Wow, that's a long time.
We still have one more meeting with her.
Thought it was a lot longer.
It felt longer.
I thought it was 18 years.
Right, I can see why.
Yeah, tonight's not a good night to judge.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't have any vote there, right?
No. Just,
If we could have a vote of sadness.
yeah.
I'll see you one more time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, approval of the minutes, 5:21. Jack?
I approve, or I move.
You move? I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Other
Gonna-
business? I hope
Sorry, I
not.
do have one other business. Pat's our secretary, so we need someone else to make the motion to approve the minutes and commit to reading the minutes. Who wants to be the secretary?
Jack does it all the time. I don't let him do it.
Yeah, I mean, as you,
What do I do?
when I was secretary, I
He's always done it.
when I was secretary, I actually had to do the minutes.
That's true. Joe does
A lot
that now.
easier now.
You have to review the minutes, which you do.
I always do.
Okay. Vote to appoint Jack.
I move that we make Jack our new secretary as of June 30th,
July 1st, yeah.
July 1st, okay?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, congratulations, Jack, you're now on the executive committee.
Sorry, I sprung that on you.
Balances whatever one.
Oh, really? Yikes.
All right, could we have a motion to adjourn?
No.
No, you want to stay here another half hour?
I move that we adjourn the hearing.
Okay. Second, anybody?
Second.